Like you mentioned Grant, played with him in the Cape. Is there anybody else, maybe somebody that was a freshman that's going in a sophomore like Grant, that LSU fans should keep an eye on next year?
First meeting was like, yeah, we got 6-year guys like Vittmeyer and Bianco. I'm like, bro, I'm a normal senior. he goes, are you really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I swear. And he goes, no.
I don't even know this one.
Do you know Hideki had a huge porn collection? I'll
Just made that up.
Nope. Google it. Google it.
What did y'all give him this morning? He is off the racks over here. Man.
He asked me specifically for Vyvance's when I didn't give it to him. I was confused.
Oh, look out. Mikey is hit and down he goes. And he is not happy at all. That is the second time that Mikie Mahtook has been hit in this game. But this
Never forget it, bro. I had a 7 or 7:30 exam in the morning, so I walk outside.
Real life.
And I walked I'm like walking in my car, and I'm like, damn, I could have sworn I parked over here. I'm like, what? Nah, maybe it's not here. I'm gonna go look around over here, bro. I walked like 3 parking spots, like in the direction I thought I probably parked. I'm like, fuck that. I know I'm parked right here.
Kids still doing that and out there playing for hours instead of just chilling on the video games is awesome to see.
Chilling on the video games. Did you just age 55,000 years?
Well, we call them Fortnite nerds.
Yeah. Chilling on the
Fortnite
video
nerds.
games.
I mean, chilling, like playing video games.
That's the way to say it, yes?
You think an old man would say chilling on the video game?
That's what you just said, yes.
You think an old man would say chilling?
On the video game?
On the video games?
Well, oh well.
You're an old man.
If you want,
Well,
I'm not a gamer.
You're getting older.
I mean, I guess
Mikey.
Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, November 14th. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. It's a little nippy out here. It's been cold in Baton Rouge for a few days now. It's my first day
Back.
really experiencing the cold because we were in Miami this weekend. Sorry that we missed the show on Friday from our friends at Uncle Earl's. We'll make it up to you. We'll have another one this Friday. We're back on schedule. But we had a weekend we had to go. We planned it ahead of time because of our friend.
Put it on the calendar.
He has a big event in his life that's coming up in January.
Big life event.
So now we had to celebrate that big life event before the big life event with another big event with us. So we had a good time. Great weekend. Watched the Tigers go and win the SEC West.
Who did dunk it?
I believe
Maybe you?
somebody said that it was possible. Anything's possible. KD said it. I mean, KG said it, not KD. KG.
Big ticket.
Big ticket. Wasn't like hey, I think they're going to. I think I said it was possible. A lot of things got to go right, but it's possible. Let's get down to these Heineken headlines before we really get into the weeds of this LSU football conversation. Saints are dead, I think.
Dead.
The Saints are dead.
Cooked.
I don't think there's any
See you
hope,
next season.
any hope there. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu basically came out and said, we're not a very good team. I think that's pretty obvious. Now Dennis Allen's talking about maybe putting Jameis Winston back in the starting lineup.
Okay.
How do you think?
Oh, weird.
You think? Then you talk about health. I'm like, I thought you said he was healthy. If he was healthy, he should have been playing. If he wasn't healthy, I understand.
Then you
Don't
should
come
have
out
said that.
and say he's healthy if he's not healthy. And
Oh, he's sitting there full uni up
Right.
and not playing.
right.
Well,
But,
he's done that before for old Florida
yeah,
State.
yeah, but
when
like you knew he wasn't playing. He didn't maybe
he
not
was
have known.
suspended.
Yeah, he was suspended.
Yeah.
He may not have known.
Trying to
he
be a
couldn't
good
do it,
teammate.
but, hey, I respect it. Better than just not showing up at all. But Saints are dead. Saints are not very fun to watch. Pretty frustrating to watch. It's like a bad movie. I can't turn it off. I'm always going to watch it. I'll never not watch the Saints game on Sunday just because I am a Saints fan. I went through the 90s of watching the Saints and bags on the head and Ricky Williams draft, the whole deal.
Wedding dress?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that's been going on. And then the Saints got into this really nice window.
Big window, too.
Huge window. And I don't think they're like, I'm not saying the window has closed as far as like they're not going to go back to what they were, but they also, what they're doing now ain't it, right? So we'll talk a little about that. More LSU. College football playoff hopes are continually increased. Pac-12 is playing themselves right out of this contention. USC has to play Notre Dame and UCLA left.
What big losses happened on Saturday?
Oregon lost to Washington, so they're out of the playoff.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. We kind of thought that could have happened. UCLA lost, so now they have 2 losses. They're out, right? So now LSU moves up 1 spot to 6, you would imagine. That is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you would imagine they move up 1 spot, so now you got the same 4, right? Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, all 10-0. Then right after them is Tennessee.
Tennessee still at the 5 spot.
And then we'll be at 6 at 8-2. So, obviously the opportunity is still there. I was hoping TCU would lose to Texas this weekend. That didn't happen. TCU,
give them their props. They actually
they look good. They played well. It was a tough game. They made the plays when they had to make it. That was like probably their big game. Like, this team, whatever. So, thought they were going to lose. Didn't lose. LSU is still 6th. They have an opportunity to continue to do what they're going to do. You would imagine Michigan, Ohio State, one of them is going to lose one game because they have to play each other. So maybe they get knocked out, and then LSU goes. Now, LSU's got to take care of business. Obviously, they play UAB this weekend. Late game at home, going to be a little chilly. Who cares? 14.5-point spread's lower than I thought it was going to be. I definitely took it.
Might have to do the same thing.
Definitely took it. If you want to take it with us, Caesar
Mikey's
Sportsbook.
hot.
I am hot. We're going to get to that conversation in a little bit. If you do want to make a bet and play with us, I was waiting for Lloyd. Lloyd didn't say anything. I even hesitated and paused just for you.
Yeah, that fella just slipped right in.
If you want to go and bet with us, download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Use Mik'd Up Full as a promo code. Help the show out. Help yourself out. Win some money because I am on a 2-week heater, and I'm very excited about it because in the past, if I win on Saturday, I would lose all of it. I would go back to even on Sunday. I just wasn't making any money, and it wasn't. It was pretty frustrating. The last 2 weeks have been very good, both college and NFL, and I'm enjoying this little streak. I have a friend of mine who I played with in the past, baseball wise. Played baseball in the past. I can't talk.
I got
Miami brain.
I got Miami brain.
I got Miami brain. Friend who I was a teammate with.
Quiet over there.
I was a teammate with back in the day. He asked me, "Hey, you got any picks?" This was last week. I said, "Yeah, sure." I gave him the teams that I liked and what I liked on Saturday and Sunday, and big weekend. So now he's asking me, I was in Miami.
You're sharp.
I had to make him bet I just wasn't there, and then all of a sudden I'm winning last weekend, and all of a sudden I give it to him again. I'm like, man, won this weekend. Took Green Bay money line, had a good feeling about it, won it. Took a same game parlay Sunday Night Football on the under and the spread of +8 for the Chargers. Chargers had a little goal line stand at the end. They didn't get above a touchdown, gave up a field goal, made it 6 points, lost by 6, hit the under. That was the 2 big wins. Both were plus money. Lost the Saints because they're dead and they stink. And then I won the Miami -3.
Wait,
so
I won the Packers too.
That's
I don't even remember doing
Are
it.
you just figuring that out?
Yeah,
right now?
I'm checking
Was
it
that a
out
live
right
bet?
now.
Was that a live bet?
I think so. 10 to win 50.
There you go.
Cash that ticket, boys.
There you
Let's
go.
go. Let's put a little money on Monday night. Who
There
we
you go.
got?
I already took the Commanders +11.
We got a couple boosts. If we're going to get the game
I'm
of
not doing-
A.J.
I'm
Brown
not
and Terry
doing-
McLaurin, each over 69.5 receiving yards. Plus
You can have those.
360. I mean, I got house money, boys.
That's how you lose the house money.
That's not even mine.
House money doesn't mean that. I mean, it is yours. It's in your account, right? You can You can deposit it into your bank account, couldn't you?
Trying to crack that 1K mark. I'm right there.
Oh, really? Oh, so you've been winning a little bit. Wow, you've been winning a little bit.
That's just a little bit of the Tigers. You just got to have that feel for it.
Hey,
Had to go into the tunnel for the Alabama game because second half Tigers can't get service in the stadium.
Oh.
So I went to the tunnel, got a hot dog, half a hot dog because they gave me half a bun, and I was like, all right.
They ran out of hot dogs?
No, they had
Half a bun. How did that happen?
It was
like one side.
It was like a open face sandwich.
Yeah, like
It's the best
a
way I
lettuce
could-
wrap.
Thank you. Yeah, I am trying to watch my carbs. I appreciate the effort from Air Mark. So I got that half hot dog, and then I put in LSU. My account really only goes however LSU goes.
Okay,
And
fair
so
enough.
we're up.
Fair enough. But
Commanders +11?
Commanders +11, I do like that. I think, we talked about law of averages.
Like that a lot.
There's only been one team, we'll say 2 teams, that have gone undefeated in the regular season, not in the postseason, right? So, based off of that, Eagles have to lose. They're bound to lose
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later, right? And
I mean, they're selling the team.
I feel like at this,
I
feel like at this point with the Eagles, you could kind of do like a blackjack progressive betting thing. You're bound to get your money back at some point.
No doubt.
They're gonna lose. They have to.
You buying insurance?
No insurance.
No insurance. We never insured, baby. Just roll it through.
No insurance, no even money.
Wave it off, baby.
They asked they're like, please take the insurance.
I sat there to gamble. I ain't coming here for insurance.
But like you said, you mentioned all the things that like why you shouldn't. I think those are all the things why you should, right? Stuff like that happens. Those teams win. Jeff Saturday never had experience coaching. Had a bunch of experiences in football and in the NFL.
A bunch of winning.
Yeah, and like he understands winning football. Like just because you didn't coach doesn't mean you don't understand it. Now, he was in a leadership position when he played. He took the interim head job, won the game, beat the Raiders 25-20. Made David Carr. Is it David Carr? David Carr.
Yeah.
Cry. Derek Carr cried. David Carr is his brother.
There you go,
was
probably also cried.
Yeah. He probably also cried too.
Sidebar on Jeff. I wonder how much of what, because he comes in the building, he doesn't know the playbook, like their actual playbook right now. He's not calling the plays. I wonder how much of like what they did successful wise was just because he literally stayed out of that part of it.
Maybe, and I think probably what he did was he said, you know what, we're gonna get back to what we did last year to make.
In the sense
successful.
of him saying like, this is what I want to see. This is what we need to do. Do that.
Yeah, of course.
I won't intervene in the play calls, but do this.
Of course, he probably just put everybody together. Yeah. Hey, like, got them ready to play. This is what we're going to do. This is the new vision. This is how we're going to move on to the rest of the year. Whatever happens after this year happens. Like, I'm here because I love the Colts. I'm here because I love football, and I believe that y'all are better than this. And first-time play callers, never called plays before.
30 years old.
He's
30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
then
having Matt Ryan as a quarterback definitely helps, right? Because
he's running a 4.640.
Hey, he's running 39 yards scamper down the sideline, kind of turned it upfield, didn't slide, like looked good. Having him as the quarterback is more like a coach on the field. He's been there, he's done it, he's experienced. He won an MVP, made it to a Super Bowl. Hey, this is how we're gonna do it. This is what I want to see. Go ahead and run this thing, and it looked really good. Picked up Paris Campbell off of waivers a couple weeks ago. Then he stunk because the team stunk, and now he was really good. I think that was a good pickup for me, leading into hopefully the playoffs of fantasy. So we'll see. You know, Justin Fields. We play with Josh Fields. I am.
Which one?
Is it all hitting you right?
Is
it all hitting you right now?
Two Josh Fields I played with. No, just two names. You know, just Josh, Justin. You know what I mean? Same way you do.
Oh, yeah, Bryce Williams and Caleb Young.
Yep, that's the same one. Except
hell of a player.
You're mixing up two people.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a name. I'm not mixing up two people. I'm just.
Speaking of Josh Williams.
What a game.
What a game. LSU in a spot where you have to have it. You knew it was going to look like that. There was no way it wasn't because Vegas is rarely wrong.
I didn't want to say I knew it was going to happen like that because I thought if it was going to happen, if it was going to be that tight, I thought that it was going to be more of somehow like some fluky plays on Arkansas' side. Like not, damn, we can't move the ball at all. Like we can't do anything. We look so out of sorts. Jaden Daniels looked the worst he's looked all year, really. I mean, what?
There's just a little wire. Oh. That's okay.
Looked the worst he's looked all year. Worse than any other game that he's had, right? He's 2 turnovers that he had in that game.
Double the season total.
Didn't have a lot of yards passing. Was very inaccurate. Didn't have a lot of time. Our offensive line gave up 7 sacks. You know, so you didn't really have a lot of time. He also didn't play very well. He didn't run the ball very well. Arkansas scheme, hats off. They did a very good job. But at the end of the day, a W. At the end of the day, SEC champions, SEC West champions, right? Going to play in Atlanta. You have UAB at home this weekend. Minus 14.5 is a spread. Obviously, that's a game that you should win pretty easily. Same way as we talked about earlier in the season. We have gotten to the point now where, hey, now we're one of the elite. We're right there in the top 10, top 5. Go ahead, win the damn game. Do what you're supposed to do, and everything will take care of itself. Wow, I was all up in the chin.
I was like, well, I couldn't get this hand up to it, so we just had to use what we had.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that.
Little giant.
Had to David Tyree that thing a little bit.
Possessed by the devil.
But, so you win, right? So you win. You got A&M at A&M. Obviously, A&M has lost, 6 straight? So A&M's in a bit of a dumpster fire there. They're struggling. Auburn, Cadillac Williams, shout out to him. That was awesome. His reaction, his emotion, like, again, interim coach, kind of like always just a new little,
Just
little
at least the Cadillac.
Hey,
you,
just
don't
a
have
little-
you don't have to buy it.
There's just a little sidebar too when you watch like really good programs, right? Is when you watched and you forget about these games because in the big scheme of it, like they're not the ones that you're like, oh, this is how we knew this is. But you forget about how bad they looked when they played Auburn, at Auburn, and left there with a win. You're gonna forget about how bad they looked at Arkansas and somehow left there with a win, right? Like that's winning program type stuff. Winning programs have those wins and they somehow keep themselves in the the competition and the conversation for when they get to the big games.
Wasn't sexy.
Wasn't.
No, but you won, right? And like, that's what you have to do, right? Sometimes you would like for them all to be sexy. Listen, Georgia has had some very unsexy ones this year. Like they almost lost to Missouri. Like they've had some things that they had to like just grind it out and get out. Sometimes that shit happens, right? Like, listen, this was built for that. I'm not even saying it was a trap game, even though obviously it was a trap game. But like going to Arkansas since 2000, I saw this stat. Since 2000, there's been 15 times LSU has played Arkansas within a touchdown score. So,
count it up. We're in 2022 right now.
2022. So 15 out of those 22 years, the game was decided it was between 7 points. So no matter how good or how bad these teams are, it's always a tight game, always. So you kind of knew it was going to be that way. I just thought it was going to be a little bit more high scoring. I thought they were going to,
keep the offensive steam going.
And listen. You had a dud. You won the game. That's good. Come back to UAB. We have a game this weekend. Go in there and tighten it up.
Get your shit straight.
Hone it in, right? And you got a night game in Texas against Texas A&M in College Station with the Colt, and a chance to take down
Midnight Yell,
and just
baby.
really make their season a living hell. Go ahead, beat them. Go to the SEC championship game, and then you have everything in front of you that you wanted before the year, really, but probably that nobody really even anticipated you even getting to.
Yeah, there's no way you could have seen this
shot
coming, even as
There's two things you put together at the beginning of a season, right? They have these 2 weeks to actually make those things happen. You want to be an SEC champion? Well, 3. SEC West champion, SEC champion, in contention for a national championship.
Yep.
You take care of the next 2 weeks, you're one of 3, and the other 2 are right there for you.
Yep, no doubt. And one of 3 was not even
on
feasible, really, right? And like to potentially hit all 3, it was like that would be
especially as early as they did one of 3.
No doubt,
like,
no doubt. Like
who would have thought
you don't
that?
have to win the last game to win the West. Like you've won it. It's already over, right? Big reason why we won that. Probably the reason we won that. Actually, is the reason that we won that and won the West and got there and got through a sloppy game. So we have a guy by the name of Harold Perkins Jr. that resides in the defensive side of the football. I don't even want to say linebacker because this
he
guy's
might
a
actually
unicorn.
own real estate in the offensive backfield.
Yeah. This guy's Micah Parsons for us. He plays linebacker. He plays nickel back. He plays defensive end. He drops into coverage. He spies. He is an edge rusher. And he can also, if you didn't know, get down within about a foot of the ground and get up underneath a tackle and still keep his balance and get a sack and get a strip fumble and end the game. And really probably should have had 5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles because the other ball got lucky that he held on to it just enough. He's a monster. Since he's been in the starting lineup, since the Tennessee game, right? So he had Tennessee, and he was in the starting lineup Florida, Alabama, and Arkansas. 4 sacks against Arkansas. He had a sack against Alabama and a sack against Florida. So 3 games starting, 6 sacks total. He has 7.5 for the year. Guy's a monster. You cannot outrun him. Now he's kind of getting a feel for the defense a little bit more, and I'm excited to see what happens with him. I mean, we talked about it off the air, and a lot of people are talking about it. He has the potential to be the best defensive player ever to come out of LSU.
I love how he's so young in his career here that.
All while having the flu, by the way.
Yeah, just that he has a 4-sack game, and you don't even really hear the real excitement in announcers because he's so unannounced at this point. Even though he came here as a big recruit, he's unannounced at this point. So people don't even believe him when they're watching it themselves. They're just kind of oh.
Then you start to hear at the end of the game.
But yes, I'm saying it takes, and it's so crazy that that's kind of where it is. But it's catching on like this.
Yeah,
so.
Until you watch him on the field, oh my God, this guy. I mean, listen to me. Just to put this in perspective, and I know there's been articles written about it, and there's been quotes written about it. The quarterback for Arkansas labeled by his teammates and his coaching staff and people that played against him as the fastest guy on the team.
Yeah.
The fastest human being on the Arkansas football team
That's
was
we
playing
got.
quarterback.
The
You
guy
line
that
him
played-
up on the line against all 85 guys, he is going to beat everybody on that one team. They have a running back with the nickname of Rocket, and he does it. He's not as fast as him. So you have this guy, right? He literally takes the ball, and he is running sideways. Has a 2, 3, 4 yard lead on Harold Perkins, who's spying him. Harold Perkins sees it, takes off through the gap, and chases him down in the backfield and forces the fumble. And if he doesn't get hit by his other teammate who's trying to pick up the fumble, he probably picks it up and takes it to the house. So the fastest guy on the field got sucked up by a linebacker. It shows you the amount of talent he's got, and how fast he is, and how quick he is at making a decision, and how quick he closes the gap when he takes off. It's unbelievable.
He plays like he literally plays like a rocket. Like everything he does is literally at warp speed. on
So
the field.
sudden.
And the crazy part about it doesn't even really look like it. Like it's so smooth that it doesn't really look like he's running hard, or trying that hard, and he's.
Hey, and you
eating
know
up
what?
ground.
You know what I think the most impressive thing about him is? Like, obviously he's a freak of nature. He's a unicorn. Like, he's more talented than, most. His motor and how he always is going and going. I mean, dude, there was a play where he got blocked out of the play, fell on the ground, got up, and chased them down. Like, you don't teach the motor. If you have that talent and that motor, you become
a freak.
Micah Parsons, you become like a Bosa, you become like
It's next level.
Khalil Mack. Like, it's
just
next
straight
level.
next level
You know what I
stuff,
mean?
yeah.
Like, you don't ever see those guys say, "Oh man, this guy's just really, he's took a couple plays off."
Not luck.
No.
That relentless effort is so unbelievably important on the defensive side of the ball. And then when you can add that with actual real talent, like crazy talent, oh my God.
Yeah, I think. Look, I know our defense has been playing really well. They've given up. I mean, they've only given up 21 points a game, which is not that much at all. I think they're fourth in the SEC in amount of points given up per game. It feels like they've gotten better. Like, they're better now. Like, it feels like watching them.
I felt like they were really good, a little bit of a low period.
And
then
then
it's-
Alabama,
and then it's
they were
taken
really
out.
good, even though I know you gave up 31 points, but like
they're
it was
good.
an overtime, 24 in regulation. Like, they only had 9 points going into the fourth quarter. So, like, defense kind of figured some stuff out. I think a big part of that is Harold Perkins being in the lineup and having him on the field all the time. Like, you have a difference maker who, in any given play, can cause a turnover.
Yeah.
Can have a sudden change of possession on defense, which is, Tyrann Mathieu-esque, right? You have a guy out there that is going to create. He's not just going to make a million tackles and have you in no. Like, he's on the field. There's a chance that you get the ball back. Hey, go get the football. Yes, sir, I will get it for you. And he ends up coming back to you. Here you go. Like the guy from The Replacements, the cop that was crazy.
Yeah.
He did that football. That's what reminds me. Go get the
ball.
football. Okay. I got the ball.
Coach,
I got the
I got
ball. So like, he's a big reason for that, but it also feels like, obviously the coverages have been a little bit tighter. You've had, Mikie Wingo has been a monster in the inside, which has been huge after losing Mason Smith.
Yeah.
You have Savion Jones has been playing unbelievable. The linebacker, I always forget his name, the freshman. Tolian, the linebacker.
DeMario.
Tolian. Right?
Yes.
He's been playing a lot more, so he's on the field. Baskerville's been playing really well. Like,
that's who I think is the unsung hero of the group, is Micah Baskerville really gripping onto that middle linebacker role.
And he can run sideline to sideline.
Because they try to do some of the same things that they do with Harold with Micah Baskerville, and that's where you can kind of see the difference. No shame to Micah, but it goes to show how good and how explosive Harold Perkins is, because they try to do like the same, like mush rush, spy him, go get him, and Baskerville doesn't have that. I mean, he's a Ferrari. Perkins has got just the seventh gear that nobody has, but Baskerville in that role when you have B.J. Ojulari, who played phenomenally, Mikie Wingo played great, Harold Perkins obviously, and then Micah Baskerville, you have so much speed on the field at one time that the LSU defense is just a problem.
Yeah, no, it's been the defense. It feels like I think going into A&M, obviously going into Georgia, if
Monday's scary.
Fuck. If you can go and you can stop Georgia, like it's gonna be hard to score on them. But if you can keep their offense off the field and keep them and be able to like, that's how you beat them, right? You say, okay, it's gonna be hard to score on them, but they ain't gonna score on us either. And it feels like they've kind of gotten in that position where they can defend that. And I feel like the Georgia offense it's not as fast paced. You know what I mean? So I think that we could set up for that.
I would say that LSU almost matches up better against the Georgia team just because you get to keep it tight.
Yeah, no, obviously the reason the Georgia offense is so good is because their tight ends are so elite and they're big and their mismatches fair. You can't put a corner on them because they're bigger than a corner. It's hard to put a linebacker on them because they outrun the linebackers.
That's spy a tight end.
But regardless, like if you go put him on the big 0-0 they have, whatever his number is, like that guy's sick. No, not even Bowers.
Just zero. The big
the 6'8" guy.
Yeah, I mean that guy's enormous, right? Like it doesn't matter who's covering him, unless you want to put Ali Gay on him.
If you could put a ball in the right spot, it's
it's hard. It's almost impossible to whatever. So it's mismatches. That's why so many teams like to run the 12 personnel and have the two tight ends on the field. Not everybody can. It happens more in the NFL than it does in college.
Darnell Washington.
There you go, Darnell Washington. But yeah, both those guys.
Might be the sharpest person here today.
I think so.
That's scary.
Scary. But my point is, I think that's going to pose a little bit of a mismatch. Obviously, they run the football. Stetson Bennett's experience. He's made the throws in the big game. But we're not talking about Georgia yet. We have plenty of time to talk about them. I just think the defense has been progressively better, and I think they've gotten to the point now where you can almost consider them pretty elite.
I personally think them figuring out the things that they figured out on the offensive side has allowed the defense to play the way they have. Think about it. Even you can go back to the Florida State loss. You can go back to the Mississippi State win. You can go back to the Tennessee loss. All these games they got down by huge points. Why? Because we couldn't sustain anything on offense. I think the way they've kind of figured some things out and been able to move the ball has allowed that defense to kind of start playing like themselves again, which is what the defense has been for the most part of the year.
I agree. And I think that talking about the offense, Brian Kelly's balls were still huge, if you were wondering, because the first half of that game, and it was kind of in a lull, they went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 25. Got it, penalty. All right, got it, illegal formation penalty, 4th and 6. Now we're going to fake the punt on our own side. Get it, another penalty, go back. I'm like, okay, we've got to punt it now. Like, let's stop doing that. Like, it was good. It was great that it worked. Penalties set it back, like, hey, this guy said, and obviously I think the reason why he said it was, hey, we're not moving the ball. We don't have a lot of fire. I need something. Like, I know that we can get this. We should get this. Like, do something. And then did it, worked, penalty. Did it, worked, penalty. Okay, I tried. You know, I wish I was a fly. We had talked about this when we were watching the game from our nice little Airbnb. It's a little close to me. I don't know.
Do you need to raise up the desk?
I need like a little
buffer
or something. I don't know. No, that's because Ray's like I'm looking on the thing. It's
you look good. I'm just saying. This is the first time this has happened.
But we're watching at the house, and halftime happened. Holly Rowe was interviewing him at halftime, and it was the first time where I'm like, oh boy, they're about to hear it. Like he said, yeah, we're gonna have to go in there and have a conversation.
Oh no.
And McGee looked at me and said, conversation? I'm like, boy, I would love to be in there and see what happens because he's about to blow their doors off, which they should have because
might be a monologue more than a conversation.
It wasn't LSU football. It was a little sloppy. It was a little sluggish. He kind of knew it. It was something that you want to fight against. Everybody was worried about, and you saw it. They did things that were very uncharacteristic throughout the course of the year. They had turnovers, and then you hear that, and you're like, damn, this is to me. And he wears them out, I'm sure. And, like, obviously they came in the second half, and they held on and won, which is the most important thing. But, you know, I think that's good. I think it's kind of like a wake-up call without having, like, the punch in the gut. You know what I mean? Like, wake-up call, like, hey.
Don't wait until it's over and it's done.
It's SEC, boys. Like, I don't care if they have one loss or 10. If they have one win or 10 wins. Any given day in this, Vanderbilt. Congratulations to Vanderbilt. First SEC win for
Vandy boys.
How long? They beat Kentucky. You think Kentucky thought they were going to lose to Vandy? No.
Try to sleepwalk it.
Even though it's Vandy, it's still the SEC. They have a freshman quarterback who's been pretty good. They have a new coach. Like, they have things that they can do. And if you don't want to play and you're not putting out the effort, they're going to beat your ass. And they did. And so, like, I think that's a good
I think that was a great barometer of where Brian Kelly is with LSU in terms of not only the ability to coach your way kind of out of what was going to happen, because it felt like a funk. Like that, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Every time Jaden Daniels made a read, it went the wrong way. And that happens in games. Like, I can see how, like, damn, I should have pulled it. Damn, I should have kept it. Then it gets in your head, like, I'm going to keep this one. And you saw it on 4th and 1 when he gave it to Josh Williams whenever he could have kept it. You see all that stuff happen on the field. But for Brian Kelly to realize not only, A, my offense don't have it today, but if we keep playing defense the way that we are, we can win. I mean, so I'm going to keep punting to the other side. Like, he went for it, like you said. Obviously, none of that worked out the way that it should have, because Jaden Daniels is gone on that 4th and 1. Like, he was getting 15, 20. And then you go with the fake punt, and he's like, all right, scratch it. You saw it at the end of the game, wherever there it's 4th and 1 again, and they choose to punt it. Jay Bramblett, Hazel Rocket, stays in
lucky.
bounds.
That was such a lucky bounce.
But that's
right.
That's coach saying, hey, I'm putting it on my defense no matter where this punt is. Like, don't shank it, please.
Yeah.
But you did get a lucky bounce, and you needed that just for him to realize that his defense can win you a game instead of because he's an offensive guy. So instead of him putting all that pressure on the offense like he did against Tennessee, he kind of learned a little bit like, all right, we don't have to go for it every time. We can kick some field goals.
Right. Well, I
don't know what they're doing on kickoff again, but other than that, special teams were nails. And then but that's good coaching in my mind from Brian Kelly being like, hold on, boys.
No doubt.
Put Harold Perkins back on the field because they have no answer.
Well, look at the beginning of the game. It was Arkansas kicked a field goal, right? They're up 3-0 to LSU. Didn't they score first? Or did LSU score first?
I think LSU scored first.
Maybe LSU scored the field goal. They go down, score. LSU turns the ball over. Twice, right? Inside of our own territory. They get stopped. Arkansas gets stopped inside of the 20. They go forward on 4th and 4. They don't get it. Like, the defense got put in some very tough situations, and the defense ended up holding them out of the end zone and, said, hey, you know what? This is going to be our game. And this was our game. It was the Harold Perkins defense game, and, Josh Williams ran it extremely well. And that was like the one positive of the offense. Like, hey, you know what? You're not going to be able to – we can't protect today. Our quarterback just seems like he's getting a little happy feet because he's been sacked 7 times. All right, boys, we're going to have to figure out something.
The sacks were on him, too.
No doubt.
He regressed a little bit.
No doubt. I think it was just a bad game. Bad game.
Do you know what his numbers are passing-wise?
In that game?
Yes.
8 of 15 for like 50 or 60 yards.
86.
86 yards. Yeah. It was a bad game. Very bad game.
Do you want to know what Brian Kelly had to think about that?
I would love to hear what Brian Kelly had to
think
think about
that. Here's
that.
Brian Kelly thinking of how to win with 86 yards passing, because there was another game early on in the year that said we can't win with 85 yards passing.
No, there was. But we'll also say this too, because that game was a little, if I remember, the stats were a little bit different, but you also got to remember 8 of 15 for 86 yards passing, which means they're what? They're still averaging over 10 yards a pass. They just didn't throw it enough for the reasons of whatever they are.
Because they were running it down their throat.
Okay, so that's my point. That's a little different.
Everybody but Jaden. Yeah. Jaden had 18 carries for like 10 yards.
Right.
He had, I guess you factor in the sacks for Jaden Daniels, 19 carries for 10 yards. Josh Williams, do you know?
He had 127 yards rushing.
122 on 19 carries.
That's pretty close.
I know he got it. Yeah, that's impressive. I know he got it that many times.
I did.
Noah Cain also had a massive game. But here's Brian Kelly on how you can win with 86 yards passing, which is, it feels like a little bit of regression to the Jaden Daniels you don't want to see, but here we are.
Zone for 400, right? Yeah. I think the ability to run the football, you've got to be able to run the football and set up at least some kind of offensive structure. And we played so well defensively. Look, it's not something that we want to make a living at, Chuck, but I think that there have been some circumstances versus some of the teams that we've played. It's allowed us to play the game that way. The turnovers, I think we got to do a better job. I mean, both of them were off of zone reads, and one of them was a throw, and one of them was a pull. We just got to do a better job, and I'll put that on coaching. That we've got to do a better job of spending more time on some of those what I would call conflict reads.
I mean, you would expect him to say something like that, right? Like, you would expect him to
Mr. Bigglesworth.
I like that. I was like, damn, it looks a little high. That's why, because it was high. You'd expect him to say those things. Earlier in the year, he couldn't say that because we couldn't run the football outside of Jaden Daniels running the football, right? Like he couldn't. We had no semblance of a running game with our running backs, and so he, I mean, obviously what he said is truth, and like obviously it makes a lot of sense. The fact that you can go into a game and you have a game plan for one thing, and it's not working out that way, and you could go and say, okay, we can lean on another facet of our game. That's something we didn't have at the beginning of the season. That's something else you couldn't rely on. Like Brian Kelly didn't know if he could say, okay, if we can't throw the football, I don't know if we're going to be able to run the football with our running backs. Like you've seen it earlier in the season against Tennessee, we had to abandon the run, couldn't run. Where running backs weren't getting any yards rushing, so you had to rely on Jaden Daniels doing it on a game. The only game really all year that he wasn't able to do anything productive offensively, whether with his legs or arm, right? You had the running game step up. The offensive line stepped up in the running game, not obviously the pass protection. A lot of those are on Jaden Daniels, but you had a running back get the ball 19 times, run for 122 yards, and that's just one. You had other running backs have some big runs too. So to be able to have a team like that, to be able to be complete is huge, right? And obviously you pointed out the defense, being stout. Look, there was a lot of games. Now, we didn't have Tyrann Matthew on the team, but there was a lot of games 2011 where we only had 86 yards passing and beat the teams by 30 points because of how elite that defense was. Now, it's a little different. Obviously, their defense was historical, and you had Tyrann who could do punt returns. But my point is, if you got the other facets, you can win some of these ugly games.
I'm just trying to find out. I didn't know what game it was, but the reason why I kept saying it is because he was 8 of 15, so over 50%.
Just over 50%.
Not great, over 50%. But the last time this happened, he was 8 of 20 for 80 yards, and Nussmeier was 2 of 5 or 2 of 6 for 5 yards. So not only are you throwing it at under a 50% clip, but you're throwing it at under 10 yards a catch. Like that ain't gonna get it done. 10 yards a catch still holds a threat there. Like there's still a threat, right? And if they would have thrown it more, I would imagine it would have gotten better. Maybe there was a hot streak in there where the percentage flies up. That's so to me,
For
like
sure, I just think
it's not 86 yards is not how you draw it up. No,
No
but
doubt.
my point to it was
You can win multiple ways.
Yeah, right.
they were able to win multiple ways.
Yeah,
in that
right. Like
situation.
that's the thing that's exciting to me. Like the game wasn't exciting. It was ugly and it was sloppy. It was a win, which is the most important thing. But you saw some things that you can say, okay, well, damn. Like we probably had our D game today, like offensively. Like we can't call it an F because you had a running game with the running backs not finally, like it's been getting better, but like this was like the biggest game for our running backs. They had the most, like Josh Williams had a career day, right? He hadn't had a day like that in his life. And he had it this day. So like that's a positive. That's something that we haven't had all year. And if you want to look at the glass half full, that's it. Hey, you know what? Jaden Daniels had the worst game of the year. He didn't play very well. He turned the ball over, which he doesn't ever do. And we couldn't protect him, whether it be because he was holding the ball too long, not seeing guys open, or they were disguising blitzes, whatever it was.
And I'll add to that because you said a great point there. We turned the ball over twice on our side of the field.
Right.
That takes away from a lot of a possession. That takes away from a lot of opportunities to throw the ball, right? It's not like they drove it all the way down, got rid of, and gave it away in the red zone, right? You turn it over that quick, that's a lot of time that you're not spending on the offensive side of the ball.
Quick change.
Kind of takes it away,
But what you did see is the defense step up in those situations,
Yeah.
stop them, keep them out of the end zone, outside of the one big play down the sideline, which was, yeah, I mean, whatever.
No word.
Threw it up there, like
Make a play.
guy made a play, good for him, got down, 40-yard touchdown, great. Like outside of that, the defense, they couldn't do anything on our defense, and they couldn't do anything on, they couldn't stop the running game. So
you knew that was coming too. Just because of how the way the game was going. Like
you knew they were going to make a big play.
Somebody was going to
No
do
doubt.
something on Arkansas' side. You're
No
like,
doubt.
all right, we got to keep watching.
Like a double tip touchdown or something.
I mean, Harold Perkins touched the ball about 20 times. They didn't want to call it either way. That's fine. But to your point, I think what LSU did on the first drive of the game, if he doesn't throw that interception, I don't know if he was trying to double pump
He had to try to
it,
hold on to the football because the ball went out sideways.
Yeah, but he hit somebody in the chest on the offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, but he was going this way and the ball ended up that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just, but they were matriculating at that point.
Right.
Like the offense was grooving,
Right.
and then you make that one quick change turnover, and now Jaden Daniels is probably in his own head a little bit of like, I don't ever turn the ball over. Let me keep one, make sure I don't give it, turn it over again.
Well, he also had some RPOs, like some quick slants that got batted down. The guys were wide open.
Right.
Like there was a couple plays where if he catches the football, he's like big
Gone.
gains, right? Like the whole like.
No,
hey,
Barry
I'm
Odom called the game of his life. I mean, he's a great defensive coordinator, but he knew what he wanted to do, and he kind of made LSU play.
Yeah, and they made some
his
plays.
game.
If they don't bat those 2 balls down, his stats look like he's 10 of 18 or maybe more
touchdowns.
That was my point to it too. To me, the 86 yards you saw and the bad offensive throwing performance you saw wasn't what you watched when they played Auburn. You were like, we literally can't move the ball in the air. We don't look good. We don't have open receivers. We can't block it up. Like it didn't feel the same way to me.
It didn't. I mean, look, it's not. None of it was good offense, like as far as like the passing game goes. But it's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm panicked. He's going back. Jaden Daniels isn't good anymore. Like, no. Now, Jaden Daniels probably took himself out of the contention of trying to be invited to New York. Like that's gone, which is okay. You know, nobody anticipated that at the
plus
beginning of the
6,000.
season. Yeah, well, I was plus 6,000. That's why I was plus 6,000. But you know, I don't think he's regressed. I think that was just one of those things where he's had a bad one. Chalk up to a bad game. Like, he was just one of those things. This guy could make a shot, you know?
That's why I give credit to the coaching staff more than anything, because LSU has been in those games before. You know that Arkansas is going to be a little bit of a letdown spot. Arkansas, for some reason, loves to play for that trophy. Sam Pittman's a big pig suey guy. Like, he can get you fired up.
Right.
LSU coming off the Alabama game where there's no, like, you can slice it any way you want. Jay Mitch, you've been there. You know that there's a letdown factor, especially 11 a.m. in the snow. Like, I know we have to be here, but you ain't getting 100% of me. I just gave you everything I got at 6 p.m. against Alabama, where we had the home crowd. Like, you can't come down off that high and expect a great performance from an LSU team. Like, this is survive and advance mode right here. Like, whatever it takes. And that's what I thought was so good by the offensive and defensive staff to get Noah Kane involved, get him 5 carries for 25 yards, 5 yards a pop, give the ball to Josh Williams 19 times.
I'll say this, too. This may sound really stupid, but I do think the Arkansas game usually poses this kind of problem, too. Now, realize we're not from the Northeast. There isn't a lot of kids from cold weather regions, cold weather areas, right? The same way as if you saw late in the years some of these California squads having to travel to, I don't know, maybe an Ohio State to play. I do think there's a little bit of, usually around that Arkansas game is when you start getting some of that first kind of cold weather-ish. And then those guys kind of traveling that, and it's new. It's not something that they're used to. You're not really practicing in it. You're not really used to that kind of thing. And then it's like, hey, here it is at 11 o'clock. It's cold. Good luck.
Cold.
Hey,
Scraping ice off the field.
So I think those kids that's something that, whether you want to believe it or not, it may sound elementary or not, but I think that's something that takes getting used to here.
Especially if you play at A&M where Muhsin Muhammad's son couldn't play with sleeves on.
Yeah, what the heck was that about? There's got to be something more.
Jimbo
to that.
is
There's got to be
losing.
something.
Jimbo.
There's got to be something more to that.
Did it look like they cut off Kayshawn's sleeves too?
I don't know.
I'm sure I'll pull up a picture, but it looked like that nobody on offense wanted sleeves, and then Kayshawn.
So you know why?
The fumble factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So they say.
Amon Green.
So
they say. I'm not saying, but like that's why a lot of these offensive guys don't want to wear it. They handle the football. It's like, but did he really like? That's why. Like, there's got to be more to that story, right?
Oh no, there's pictures of him playing with sleeves on before that game.
I get that, but there's got to be something else.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. Like, he just pulled something out of thin air.
Right.
Like, you're not playing today. It's like, fine. Nobody wants to play for you anyway. Jimbo's in a tough spot, and the best thing about that is
A&M's in a tough spot. Jimbo's in the, hey, you want to fire me? Give me my $85 million.
Jimbo's. That's very true. Like A&M's in a very.
But I don't think he wants to lose the job.
I know he doesn't want to lose the job. He's not trying to lose. Like, he's trying to win, but like
LSU dodged a bullet.
Man.
Because he definitely was on the all phone call list. Recent. You don't think Scott would reach out?
Yeah, but think about it. I just knew that he wasn't going to be able to leave, regardless of how much Scott wanted him or not. Like, that's such a you just can't leave $100 million job for another $100 million job. Like, it's just not. You're just not going to be able to do that. Like, they're not going to let A&M's not going to let you do that.
I know.
I agree.
All I'm saying is that I'm sure he was on the Rolodex.
Oh, I'm
he
sure.
Said no. LSU gets BK, who seems to be at the perfect spot for the perfect job right now, just because of you can see Nick Saban. He is celebrating the Ole Miss win like he won the Natty. He is so. I've never seen him this been out of shape. He's exhausted. And when you see Brian Kelly, who You hear him talk about Harold Perkins. He's like, "Oh, I'm so old because he doesn't know who MJ is." Like,
can I debunk that thing?
Sure.
Did you not see the quote of B.J. Ojulari? Actually, this makes me like Harold Perkins even more.
That's what I thought too.
Because Harold Perkins had the game of his life, right? Like, obviously he's young. He's going to have more huge games. He tied the school record for most sacks in a game as a true freshman. He just won the game. BK asked him after the game, he's like, talks to him about the flu game. He's like, you just kind of like MJ. He says, who's MJ? And like, that's the quote, right? But then they asked BJ Ojulari about it, and BJ looks at him, he goes, he knows who MJ is. Harold Perkins just likes to joke around. To me, the biggest game of your day, of your life, of your career so far, your coach asks you a question and talks to you about, like, man, MJ, one of the greatest basketball players, maybe the greatest basketball player of all time, says that, and you say, who's MJ? Like, I'm just kind of fucking with you, coach. Like,
he knows who Michael Jordan is.
He's so comfortable with what happened. Like, that's good.
Game, I threw up as we were going into our team meal, team meeting, and I said, hey, MJ threw up when he had his greatest game, and he said, who's MJ? I was like, man, I am getting so old. But yeah, he's pretty special.
I mean, he knows him.
I don't believe him at all.
Who?
Harold Perkins knows who MJ is.
That's what I'm saying. BJ Ojulari said he knows it. Like, he just says Harold Perkins likes to joke around. So, like, he was just, Coach said it, like, just being sarcastic and being funny, and like, but in the moment of that, like, knowing you were that instrumental in a game and having the
moxie to get to deliver that joke. And
exactly my point.
Exactly my joke. It's actually kind of cool. I like that a lot.
I like that because, hey, I had 4 sacks. Cool. I'll do it again. Cool.
I like that.
Like, no big deal.
Let me throw up and put this.
I expected that. Is basically what that tells me. I expected to come out here and do that. Like, oh, you think it's cool that I had 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles? Like, no, I should have had 6 sacks. You know what I mean? Like, I expected to do this. Like, to me, like, that is a sign of a very, everybody using generational, special, freak. Like, that's what he is. But to have that mindset and to be able to say, damn, he's truly just out there having fun and playing the game, just being, that tells me he's in a very good spot. And so I like that coming from him. It just kind of shows who he is. Hey, Greg Penn's been playing good too. Greg Penn's a run stuffer, which going into this weekend I think is going to be a big thing because their running back at UAB is really good. That's what they run through. He has 1,400 yards in 10 games. And he's averaging 7 yards a carry.
It's not bad. I don't care what league.
So according to Brian Kelly, they have a very veteran offensive line, like a older offensive line, and they run the ball really well. So, obviously.
Do you know their record?
No, but the quote was, "They are better than their record indicates," is what he says. Like, they're not, like, their record isn't. They're better than what their record says. I don't know.
Almost tripped over UAB in his first year.
Yeah, Nick Saban, but it was a little different. Nick Saban wasn't winning the SEC. He won the next year. He won the SEC championship in 2001, not his second year. You know what I mean? Which was also similar to this kind of year. Like,
that's what I'm saying. There's
nobody. Well, it was outside of it being the first. He didn't. Nobody was expecting him to be there. They're 8-4 his first year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
so. Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, like, you go 9-3, 8-4, 9-3 again, like, start to build some momentum, and then all of a sudden you get Matt Mock and you start winning these games. Was it Matt Mock or was it still Rohan in 2001?
It's both.
Oh, that's right. It was
both.
Got
hurt, and then Mock came in in the SEC championship.
Yep, against Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just like they act like they'd never seen a quarterback draw before.
And Jonathan Zenon? Was it Jonathan Zenon?
No, that was
who was the cornerback with the interception at the end of the game? Or was that Jonathan Zenon just later on?
That was Zenon against Tennessee.
That was the Ron Perlew game wherever
he
played.
That's right.
That was the only time that Lloyd said in his career that Perlew played more than 2 plays in a row.
It's true.
Shut up.
But yeah, so like that next year,
Tennessee State. That's the only other game.
They went to the SEC championship game the next year at what, 9-3, right? I believe.
In 2001.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, I don't know.
That's when they played Illinois in the Sugar Bowl.
Right, but I believe that they
Matt Mock again.
Right, but it was 9-3. Like, it wasn't like, I mean, the SEC West wasn't what it is now. It was good, but SEC wasn't what it is now.
I would argue to say that the SEC East was probably more dominant.
It was because Tennessee was still good.
Steve Spurrier.
Tennessee was still good. Florida was still good. Georgia was good.
Yeah.
So that side was probably more. It wasn't the whole SEC like you have it now, but that side was probably a little more dominant.
Yeah.
All right, it's Dwayne McBride.
What?
Is the running back for UAB. New school record holder for single season touchdowns. God damn it.
You didn't believe me?
No, I did. I just didn't know that they were kind of good.
He's good.
And the O line. We'll give him that veteran.
Perk's got a mission. I did
See,
put
but
put up a poll. You can only pick one freshman. LaRon, Stingley, Peterson.
Oh yeah, Stingley's fresh. That was a good one. Stingley's freshman.
I should have kept Tyron in there, but I didn't know who to sub out because Tyron did have a better freshman year than I thought.
Told you.
I know, it was my fault. He had ranked first in the SEC and fifth nationally with 5 forced fumbles and tied for first in the conference in fumble recoveries.
Well, it was only the last game of the season.
Led the team with 7 pass breakups, fourth on team in tackles. I don't remember him playing that much.
I do.
He was an absolute playmaker on the season with 8.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 7 pass breakups, and 5 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, and earned Cotton Bowl Defensive Player of the Year.
Pretty good, huh?
My bad.
The nickname started that year. It didn't start as sophomore.
There's a reason why he got 7 the next year. You know what I mean?
That's my fault. He was real good at sophomore year.
We were talking about, just to give you kind of a recap, we're talking off air about, we're trying to put a poll up, and we're trying to talk about a freshman, and we brought up Tyron. He goes, I don't think Tyron's freshman year was all that good. I think he had 1 or 2 good games. I'm like, I think it was pretty good. And the show starts, I couldn't look up the stats, and then I'm glad he found those stats because I was pretty sure that when Tyron was wearing 14.
That was 14 year, right?
Wasn't that the Oregon?
No, that's when he was 7. That's what I was thinking.
So the Oregon and the West Virginia
Oregon
game
was
all
11.
the same year?
Oregon was 11.
See, I was thinking 11.
The Oregon and the West Virginia game were all in the same year?
Yes.
But I do remember when he was 14, he was making all the plays.
Do you want to hear his junior year stats?
Well, his junior year didn't play.
His sophomore year, I'm sorry. Unanimous first team. Catch my breath. Led the SEC in forced fumbles with 6 and fumbled recoveries with 5. Shattered his own school record in single-season forced fumbles and finished second in LSU single-season fumble recoveries. Ranked number 1 nationally in fumble recoveries and was fourth nationally in forced fumbles. Ranked second in the SEC. I mean, this is so long. This is when he started to return punts. Ranked second in the SEC and fourth nationally in punt return average at 15 yards of punt return and added 2 touchdowns.
15 yards of punt return.
His 421 punt return yards on 21 attempts finished the 6th highest total yardage in LSU single-season history. Team leader in total tackles, including 59 solo. Also notched 7.5 tackles for loss for 45 yards, 1.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. Named the SEC championship game MVP against Georgia. Would love to see that again. After he returned to punt, 62 yards for a touchdown. Finished with 119 yards. Posted 4 solo tackles and recovered a fumble. Became just the 2nd player to return a punt for a touchdown in the game's history and the first player to win the MVP award since 1994. I mean, that's where I was.
I'll laugh at this and say this is funny, but think about it this way. To finish the game with over 100 yards of scrimmage yards, I guess, if you will, and you don't play a single down of offensive football, it's
or do kick returns.
Put Harold Perkins at punt returner.
And he didn't kick return.
No. Keep him healthy, coach. Keep him healthy. But talking about the game.
And he can pass.
Talking about the game, right? You said it's going to be a Perk game, right? Yeah, sure. He's going to be on the field. He's a starter. I mean, he's going to have a good game, but he makes his noise right now in getting to the passer, forcing him to either get rid of the ball early, throw an interception, force the fumble, sacks, all that stuff. I think it's going to be more of a Baskerville Greg Penn game than the
unless
linebacker.
they're a edge zone or edge rushing type of
I haven't watched film on him, but if this guy's running as well as he's running, and they run between the tackles, which with a veteran offensive line, and I would imagine they try to run.
I would imagine that that's what they're good at UAB.
Yeah, and so
not getting out on the edge.
You need a guy who's going to be able to clog that up and be able to get in there and get off of the blocks and stuff the run. I'm not saying Perkins can't do it.
Game.
Huh?
Makai Wingo.
But linebackers wise, guys who are that's his deal, right? That's what Greg Penn's good at is he's going to tackle you and he's not going to chase you down sideline to sideline.
Les Weeks slithered out there for some reason. He got out there.
He's been playing a lot this year.
Well,
he does well when he's out there too.
What's your problem?
Just because he's a white guy?
Just
Jesus
go ahead
Christ.
and say what your problem was.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Just because he's a white guy. I mean, come on.
But it could be that or the fact that he shouldn't be out there.
You don't. Why? He's been playing well.
He hasn't. No.
Yes, he has. He's been playing okay. He's not a starter.
He's probably drinking all the hot chocolate on the sidelines.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, chicken broth. Ooh, delicious. Have a full meal.
God.
What do you got on 8 o'clock games? I hate them.
That's late.
That's late.
That's late.
Listen, it's going to be dark at 5.
That's the steal the golf cart game.
No, that's I'm not. The game's over. I'm going home game. Ain't no
staying the whole time.
Ain't no walk-ons. After that,
It's over.
it's over.
Shut down.
Well, it's not a leave early. Go to.
It could be a leave early game. It could be a leave early. Hopefully,
31-0.
Hopefully, it's a leave early game.
Catch a little walk-ons. Catch a little party box. Congratulations, by the way. A slight early curtain call to your cousin.
Yes, congratulations,
Robert.
What a risky move he had on Saturday, huh?
Brother.
For the Alabama game.
Last Saturday, he risked it all.
First child. His wife is
Almost.
No, she's not at the hospital yet. She's at the house. She is dilated.
She's dilated.
Right? So, like,
Saw pictures.
she's not. Jesus. Jesus Christ.
What?
That's a doctor. Trying to help.
Oh, so he sent it to you? Hey, show your dad?
Professional
Okay.
opinion.
I'm sure that's what happened.
It's called the crowning.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Anyways, so he goes to the game because he is the guy. He sets up the tailgate. He runs the tailgate. It's LSU, Alabama, like
has to
whatever.
go.
And so he goes to the game, tells her, hey, I have my truck parked right behind the party box. If I get the phone call, I'm out. One, there's no service in the stadium.
None.
Two,
you ain't getting out that easy.
You ain't getting out that easy.
No. And so
the fact that he boondoggled her
what
easily.
a risky move by him. It worked out for him.
Risky
Got
pregnancy.
to watch one of the best games ever in Tiger Stadium. 2 earthquakes, no baby. Had the baby in the middle of this week. Congratulations. Big move. Big move.
Big move.
I said she should have come to the
then
game.
names the baby after himself.
Bear.
Bear.
I love it. It's the third, right? Yeah.
And then I got a video of him driving the baby in traffic and just listening to the LSU fight song. And the baby's just kind of doing a little bit of... it's getting there.
See some early. I said, listen, for us being around the party box, which is my family's tailgate,
I said to do a
for
water
so
birth.
long, I mean, the one thing we haven't done there is have a baby in the box. You know what I mean? So, like,
Kinda
bring
blew
her.
it.
We know enough doctors. We can sanitize. We can make this thing work. Have the baby in the box. I mean,
There's a shower.
Then you walk out with the baby like you're Mufasa, and you say, "It's a boy!" And you hold it up to everybody in the party box, and everybody takes a shot for you.
Well, that was done with one baby. He just wasn't a literal baby anymore.
Right.
It's his birthday. He got to celebrate it.
You're right. He did. Hudson got to celebrate his birthday for Alabama, dressed as Maverick, which was awesome. But that would have been electric. He didn't do it. I'm happy for him.
I mean,
Congratulations.
risk was 9 out of 10. It could have been 10 out of 10. Just have a baby here. That was not the case. But I was the one that brought up, like, Robert, you're not going to have any cell phone service. He goes, we don't really want to talk about that. She doesn't know that yet. And I was like, okay, I'm here for you, whatever you need. So I kissed him on the lips.
So you made a comment. I'm changing the subjects off of you. I'm reading some of these quotes that Brian Kelly had at his presser
today,
and he was making a joke about we talked about the broth and the coffee and all that stuff, and he's like, he made a joke about preferred clam chowder. He said doctor that he talked to, obviously the broth wasn't there just to be there. Like there's salty, it's salty for you, so it helps with, and it's warm. So obviously it was chilly day, and they said the salt like it helps with the game nutrition wise, and like to me, that's just stuff that like, you know, like just the little things like that. Like hey, he's willing to like do things that are a little different because of. Even if it gives you a little bit of an edge, you know what I mean, or helps a little bit.
It works if you win. If you lose, it is made fun of on every SEC network.
For sure, it's because people. It's easy. It's an easy target, and like, but I'm willing to bet that there's a lot more teams that do things like that. You just don't see it labeled. But they had to label them because you're trying to go there to get some hot chocolate or coffee, and you pour some chicken broth, and you don't know, and you take a sip of it, you ain't happy.
I can tell you this: I played a lot of football, right?
Have you?
Yeah, a few downs.
Well, a couple.
I don't think you played 2 downs in a row though.
Not 2 downs in a row.
Not with Ron Perlow on the same field.
No, not 2 downs in a row. But I don't ever really remember seeing chicken broth on the sideline in cold games.
No, right. That's my point. Is like
meaning he's willing to kind of go, hey, look, I'll give you every edge, every opportunity, everything possible.
You don't have to use it.
I don't have to do it. Yeah.
This is what it does for you. This is what the doctor says. Can't hurt. So if you want to do it, do it.
Played for some pretty successful coaches too. I think Never saw that happen.
I feel like Les Miles is jealous. He didn't think of chicken broth on the
Why?
sidelines.
Why? He had the grass.
I had the grass too. I don't blame him.
I know you did. You're still eating grass.
Nutritious.
What do you mean?
He also mentioned John Emery's fine. That's good.
But
just a bruise.
I think my larger point is how
you
do
have
you,
a larger point?
How do you get to that spot whenever you have nobody's drinking chocolate milk ever before a game, right? Like not that close to hot chocolate. What am I running around doing with that in my belly? Broth also very
You'd have to imagine the hot chocolate is
Just
not
to have?
it's what's probably not like the hot chocolate you're drinking at home. Like it's not like
Doesn't have
this,
whiskey
not
in it?
it's not like the super sugary marshmallow hot chocolate. It's probably something
For body temperature solely.
Yeah, listen to me. They have coffee and hot chocolate on outdoor games in baseball. I know you're not
games.
running near as much,
Yeah.
but like that stuff's not gonna like
run through you.
It ain't bogging you down like that. Yeah, no.
It's gonna keep you warm, and it's gonna, that's it. I don't know. I mean, no issue with it. They're not gonna put it out there if it's not gonna help you. If it hurts you, they definitely.
Have you ever seen it before?
I mean, I've seen the hot
I've seen it
chocolate.
in
I've seen the
baseball
coffee. I don't know if I've seen
it
broth.
in baseball too.
I just hadn't seen it. I mean, I guess not. I haven't seen it, but I also don't watch every football game. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it at LSU. I wonder if other teams do it.
Hey, new nutrition staff.
I have no
You got
issue.
everything.
I have no
Hey,
issue. I have no issue with that.
Me either. Apparently, if you play well, I mean, what did you say about the broth? Why was it there?
Because he
Harold,
says.
Well, Harold was sick. He had a little chicken.
I think
broth.
that's what I think. Maybe it was him. Maybe he needed a little soup. Chicken broth is broth says for salt nutrition purposes. Now I don't know the science behind it.
Well, there's a lot of anything that you take to hydrate. There's
salty.
I
get that part.
Sodium is in there. NaCl. Sodium chloride.
And especially on a cold game, this is what people don't realize is like just because you're not sweating.
The throat closes up on you whenever you're barking in the cold weather. You get
but like just because
throat.
it's cold and you don't feel like you're sweating as much, you're still burning as many calories and like you're probably burning more because you're cold and you're gonna cramp. People don't think about cramps in the cold because they only think about when it's hot. That's not the case. It's very easy to get cramps in the cold. So like that's also probably part of it.
It's like getting sunburned on the beach when the clouds are out.
Right.
Sun's still there.
Still getting you. Still getting the UV rays.
Which we need to watch out for.
Ray Baker.
Make him your friend. Did you see him, by the way?
I saw him driving in the neighborhood the other day. First time I've seen him in the neighborhood in a minute.
Was he at the UL game? Shaking hands with the other team?
I didn't see that, was he?
Yeah. Best of luck to Coach O. He's just addicted to football.
Hey, man, if you're going to pay him to be a consultant or go and, like, do these, like, interviews and talks and speeches and do whatever, and LSU's still going to pay him $17 million to get out, like, good for you if you want to do that, you know?
Well, that's the thing. He's not getting paid by anybody to do anything.
What do you mean?
Like, there's no ESPN. There's no...
Yeah, but go and do speaking engagements, he gets paid.
I think he's just visiting.
No.
Bro, he's had speaking engagements. He talked for Arkansas when he had the speech for Arkansas. Like, they pay him to go there. They pay appearance.
That's not. Hey, just show up and come talk for us. He's getting paid to do that.
Fees, yeah.
Oh, they're getting fleeced. He would definitely show up for no money.
Now, some places like where his sons are coaching, maybe, but like, he's not going to give a speech to the guys at Arkansas or wherever that speech was when he said, "Yeah, you told me where's the door, when do I go, or whatever."
That wasn't a free engagement.
Like
I promise
that's not
you.
free. He's getting paid to do that.
Damn you, Panamsky.
Panamsky's an agent now. I saw that.
What, do you have to run a 40?
I don't know what he has to do, but I just saw it on his bio.
Were you there for that?
No, I was not.
Broke his collarbone and tore his hamstring.
I was not there for
All
that.
in one fell swoop.
Was not there for that. Can't imagine what that looked like.
I can.
You
don't have to. It's online.
You want to take a little break? Kind of regroup? Kind of figure out our next move?
Sure.
I'm reading all these quotes. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go, but let's take a little break. Minute break.
Minute break.
Take a little break. Minute break. You're watching Mik'd, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mik'd Up. I want to talk a little bit about my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette. They're locally owned and operated for over 25 years. They have 13 locations, 4 in Opelousas, 5 in Lafayette, 1 in Broussard, 2 in Jennings, 1 in Crowley. They sell any type of car you could possibly find: Buicks, GMC, Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia, along with 5 pre-owned locations. They have over 1,500 cars in inventory on site. Unbelievable service, unbelievable people. If you're like me and you're on the go, they can sell and they can ship you cars up to 200 miles. Unbelievably convenient. Again, my friends down at Sterling Automotive in Lafayette, go to their website at saveatsterling.com. Awesome people, go check them out. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become a life of the party. You're welcome. Our What's for Lunch segment is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Maybe the best burger in town. If you're not looking for lunch, you're looking for dinner, go check out Doe's Eat Place. They have unbelievable choice of meats. They have unbelievable tamales. They have a great atmosphere, great vibes. If you're looking for a homey Louisiana type of atmosphere, but you're looking for high quality food, Doe's Eat Place is your spot. Go in the back bar, sit at the bar, have a couple drinks, watch some games, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibes. Check out Doe's Eat Place, the best place in Baton Rouge to get your meats. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Love me a good Sterling dealership. Honestly, I mean, they got.
I named my kid Sterling.
They got 1 million of them over there.
Oh, they got pre-owned?
Oh, they got pre-owned. Gosh, they got
fresh.
They got some. They have new ones. They have pre-owns. They have Genesis. They can lease it. And I mean, they're a car dealership, Lloyd, so they can do all of that. The Genesis.
I got a lemon.
Not
from Sterling.
The Genesis dealership is pretty impressive. So if you hadn't seen it, go see it. The Genesis cars are actually very impressive.
We almost lost you whenever we were moving the couch out.
Oh yeah, almost did.
Coach. You'd have seen the sky.
Athleticism, coach.
Off probably, 9 feet?
No.
6 feet?
It was like the bed of my truck. We're trying to get like over the railing of the.
What was this?
Last Thursday. We're moving the couches out into like whatever. So like, I moved it over the thing, but I only had a little bit of corner on my tailgate.
James Franco.
And so like I was elevated already, and so I was trying to figure it out, and I missed the step.
Ooh.
In work clothes.
With it in my hand. What'd I do?
Hey, players make plays.
I landed, didn't fall on my feet.
Planted the couch in the bed.
Yeah.
And
dropped
then bailed.
it in there and bailed. Pretty good athleticism. So got it.
It was very nerve-wracking. I was like, does he still have it? And I was like, I should send this to maybe Detroit.
Maybe.
Alex Lang, are you
Alex
watching?
Lang. Damn, that's what we should have called today.
Still can.
No, he can't do it. It's too late now. I mean, we have 53 minutes
There's
left.
Central time.
I don't even know where he's at.
Detroit.
Is it raining outside still?
I don't know, dude. The traffic was a disaster. I actually got nervous.
Yeah, Alex Lang told me Detroit they still talk about me over there and like me. I'm like, well, why the fuck am I there? Jesus. You know
that Mikie Mahtook is probably pretty good ball player.
Asking him about me, I'm like, he asked me about me. I'm here.
Lang was a Cub.
I'll start hitting and throwing again.
Fucking rickets.
But okay, let's get into a little of this college football playoff talk, right? I think people kind of know where it's gonna go, but
give your first 4.
CFP, I think it's the same. I think it's Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. TCU definitely didn't do anything to get out of the top 4. They beat Texas on their 6.5-point dogs against Texas. They beat Texas. I don't think they've done nothing but they played Baylor this weekend. I know Baylor hasn't been playing very well. They started the season off pretty well. Dave Aranda, maybe they do something crazy, stop them offensively. TCU just always seems like they get upset by somebody they shouldn't. Someone in the Big 12 always seems like they get upset by somebody they shouldn't lose to. So I think the four stay the same. I think Tennessee moves up. Or Tennessee stays at 5. I think LSU moves up to 6, right? You have USC at 7, Alabama 8, Clemson 9, Utah 10. So all of those teams really move up.
When did they do the official? Tuesday?
Tomorrow.
Tuesday's a college football, right? I'm looking at the.
Now it's starting to matter all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm looking at the AP, right? So
Boo Callahan is going to be.
I mean, they got 2 tough games. USC's got 2 tough games.
Yeah, what's their schedule?
They got UCLA next at UCLA, and then they finish the season at home against Notre Dame.
That's right.
2 ranked teams right
and
now.
then the 12th championship.
So that's 3 tough games in a row.
So they have three tough ones in a row. You'd imagine they trip up on one of those.
And if Oregon, they don't, then they probably belong somewhere right in the conversation.
Right. Oregon lost, dropped down six spots. Washington beat them, moved up 9 spots. UCLA lost, dropped down 7. All of those are out. Washington, UCLA, Oregon, Pac-12. They're in the Pac-12. They're dead. Yeah. No more playoff talk for them. Only one they have left in the playoff talk is USC. Yeah. USC also has to play UCLA and Notre Dame.
Have to go to UCLA, and Notre Dame, and then a conference championship.
Crazy stat about Notre Dame. Did I tell you all the stat? Almost, but I would have put it in the group text, but I was definitely had some Miami brain at the time, so I didn't think about sharing my thought.
Somebody cut that?
No. So, the Notre Dame was
Gold Domers.
They have blocked a punt and for 5 straight games.
Oh, who left?
That was. You think they weren't happy when that happened? Okay, fine. Go. Take them.
No, it's up to you. I'm not going to say anything.
No, I said them. That's what they said. Go, you go. Y'all go. Take them. We're going to probably fire them anyway.
What were we doing? And I'll say we. I usually don't. Back-to-back kicks. Coffin corner. I've seen that movie before. They do
one of them almost worked perfectly, though.
What's the point?
I know there's no point, but I'm saying one of them almost stopped in field of play at like the 1.
Help me.
You don't like the ankle kicks?
Do you?
I do.
I like the high angle kick if you can do it.
I don't even like it high. I like deep angle kicks.
But every time we've done it,
I know. I get it. I love it. I love an ankle kick.
I get why you do it. I have no problem with it.
I'm cutting down half of the field. There's only one way you can go.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know which way they can go is to the 35 without touching the ball.
Well, we're not talking about if you actually kick it out of bounds.
Well,
you just asked about the kick period.
Like
I just give you. Yeah, I like the kick. I like the ankle kick.
Do you like LSU's execution of the ankle kick?
Okay, no.
This year, no.
In a year.
Yeah, we've been really good at it in the past.
Cameron Gamble?
Really good at it in the past.
You're thinking of the one other time. After that, you really can't think of any other times we kicked the ball.
We were really good at it in the past. It was almost notorious that you were. It was almost notorious that you were not getting the ball to the 20, and you were bringing it
really
out.
All about execution.
Everything's worth it if you can execute it.
I know, but why put yourself in that position when you're playing a defensive game already, and he can kick it out the back every time?
I'm not disagreeing with you in the situation, but I understand why they do it.
Oh, I get.
The guy's got to be able. Now he did it right. The second time I got lucky, I think, but he kept it in play. Couple good bounces.
I don't.
Good turf.
Couple good bounces.
I'll say this too, Lloyd. I think you kind of downplay sometimes when it comes to kickoffs and special teams and stuff like that, how important lane integrity and all that stuff is. And I think you think like, oh, we can't kick there, so let's kick it down the middle. Well, if they haven't been practicing that and these guys aren't fitting on the right shoulders and they're getting out of lanes and all of a sudden the lane opens up huge and they take one to the house because you just didn't try to kick it to the corner, you kicked it to the middle, then we got a big problem on our hands too.
Well, you saw it when he bobbled the punt. And everybody lost their lane integrity. He almost gets outside for
my point is you're so worried about if we can't do it, but it takes more than just saying, hey, if you can't kick it there, kick it here. Well, now you got to coach up the other 10 because they got to keep running the right lanes. So it's not as easy as you think when you just say, oh, we can't do it, just don't do it there. Well, they've been practicing it there. It was probably pretty successful there, so they got to bring it to the game. It's kind of how it goes.
And they didn't do it all. So they just execute, right? But
just don't let yourself lose that way.
They didn't.
If you can kick it out the back.
We haven't lost a single game this year because of how bad where we're kicking the football. Not one.
That's true.
Not one.
But you've compromised.
We haven't lost a single game this year about where we're kicking the football. No, we haven't. There hasn't been a single game be like, damn, dog, we just did kick it out of bounds right here every time we
Alabama. They scored in 3 plays.
They didn't lose. It doesn't matter.
Of course, you can always play the result.
No, that doesn't. But that's my point.
Okay, so
the game hasn't been lost there.
Okay, so
That's not what we intended.
you kick the ball out the back end, they'll get a 25. So it's a 10-yard difference.
35, actually, is it?
No, 25.
Oh no, out the back end. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
So like if he fair catches it, he's going 25. So 10 yards in this.
Down.
I understand, it's 1 first down, 10, but 10 yards in this. It's not like you're gonna keep it at the 50. It's not like it's a 20-yard difference. Like you said, Alabama 3 plays. Like those 10 yards are gonna make a difference in that situation for Alabama.
I know this sounds crazy because we're only talking about 5 more, but where they put it at in the NFL, when you kick it
On
out
the
of bounds
40?
at the 40,
No doubt.
that's a huge difference,
No
man.
doubt.
Like it really is. You get 1 first down in the NFL, and you're basically in
Almost
field goal
in field goal
position
range,
with
yeah.
a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Like that's completely different to me.
No doubt.
So
yeah, I mean,
I understand. I hate seeing a flag on that shit. Dude, I hate it, but I do think when you
Well, I just
execute
think
it right,
it's so unnecessary when your defense is playing so well. Why even take the risk of, I get we want to pin them deep. Sure, but why take the chance to give them any momentum whenever you're like, they're going to go 3 and out?
Look, I don't really
probably
think
because
it's
they
that much
thought because they
momentum.
knew their defense was playing so well. He said, "Fuck it, like it's a risk."
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't really think it's that
yeah.
much momentum. Like you said, you still literally have to put together a drive from the 35, especially in college football, right? There ain't many 55-yard kicks being made in college football, so you're still going to have to get 2+ first downs.
Well, no, but that's what you get into with college football is it turns into we're going to go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 3, take a shot. Like, that's where you get into the college football game. Like, look, I'm not hard. Look, the special teams have been better. Ramos was excellent.
Yeah.
2 kicks you have to make.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Yeah.
Give me the peace sign. Give me all of that. Like, I love what they're doing. Like, from snapper to holder to kicker, they got that figured out because they're in a good groove. Everything that's ancillary is the problem in terms of, like, that can lose you a football game is all I'm saying. Like, if you play against Georgia, you want to give it to them at the 35, whenever they can maul you, like, that's how Georgia wants to play
Well, here's the deal.
football.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. They're gonna angle kick it on the teams that they should angle kick it off of. Like, they're gonna look at the way Georgia returns kicks, and if it benefits us to angle kick it, they're gonna do it. If it doesn't, they're gonna kick the ball out the back of the end zone. Like,
right.
It's gonna be dependent upon the team. It's not like that's not. They're not gonna hang their hat like, oh, you're playing LSU. They're always angle kick it to the side.
Unless you have a kicker who's that elite at
Right.
placing it there every time,
Right.
then you might get the team that says,
Yeah,
"Fuck,
right.
well, this is where
Right.
we're kicking it every time. Good luck returning it out."
Right.
I
But
still think it's worth it with how good your defense is playing.
that's fine.
That's fine. I just don't think it's that big of a difference here.
He's done it twice.
With the same reasons for you said it, with how well the defense is playing. That's just me.
If you got the 40, I say, okay, that's 15 yards. That's not good.
Yeah.
I know it's extra 5, 10 yards.
It
To me,
only sounds like
35.
5, but I think that's a huge difference. Huge difference.
All right, so let's go down this. Georgia, obviously, they play at Kentucky. Kentucky just got beat by Vanderbilt.
I expect them to finish that. Yeah.
I expect them to give up like 1,000,000 points. Right. What are we doing out here?
Oh, no.
Oh, you put the game on.
I was trying to.
Nice. Ohio State's at Maryland. Michigan's against Illinois. Michigan's against Illinois.
And for me, Michigan and Ohio
Doesn't
State,
matter.
It really, one of them's going to get the loss. One of them's pretty much out.
Well, listen, hear me out. You want to talk about some crazy crap? Crazy shit.
Crazy crap?
Crazy shit.
What you got?
Michigan loses. You know what? Let's do this.
Because that's what people are talking about is that Michigan and Ohio State still have to play each other, and they keep putting both of them in the playoff.
And it's just probably not going to happen.
So here's the deal.
If one of them wins, one of them has to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal.
LSU, if they win out.
Oh, so the Big Ten doesn't have a championship game, huh?
No, the Big Ten doesn't anymore.
The Big Ten, that's the team that doesn't.
So that's why they're saying those two, you play each other. One of y'all.
That's why they always get penalized for not having 2 people in it because they don't have an SEC. They don't have a Big Ten
That's
championship
what TCU
game.
had to go through. Remember?
And they have one now,
Yeah,
right?
they
Remember
made
that?
one.
Like because of TCU, it was like 2012.
12.
But they have to play Illinois. Illinois is playing at Michigan. Illinois is like not elite, but Illinois they're ranked at one point this year. Like they aren't god awful.
We're gonna play LSU or Illinois.
What?
I'm just saying, in terms of just where we are in this, like, what respect do you get for beating Illinois?
No, my point is Illinois is going to beat them. Has a chance to beat them. That's my point. So let me finish. Let me finish my. I said let's get crazy with this thing, right? Michigan has to play Illinois. Illinois has been ranked in the top 25. Let's say Illinois beats Michigan, Right now, Michigan's got a loss. Now Michigan plays Ohio State. Now Ohio State's got a loss. Both of them out.
Yeah, they both would be out then at that
Right?
point. Yeah.
At that point, you have
Oh,
Georgia.
you're getting crazy.
Huh?
Crazy.
He did say he was getting crazy.
I told you that.
Yeah.
But like, it's not. I say crazy. It's not that far fetched. Like Illinois.
Just saw Kentucky lose to Vanderbilt.
Illinois was okay at some point this year. They were playing pretty well, right? Like they're ranked. They go there somehow beat Michigan. Some crazy stuff happens, and Michigan figures out, okay, hey, we're not that bad. Then they play the big rivalry game, and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now both of them have one loss, no champion out, right?
I will say this though, in regards to that, it's like really hard to believe, and I get it. You know, it's a huge rivalry game after, but it's really hard for me to believe that Michigan would lose to Illinois and turn around the next week and beat Ohio State.
I agree.
So that's a very tough scenario. But
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Might be the best player in the country.
Who?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's good.
He is unbelievable. But that's not what I was. I mean, I thought he got it. That should be pass interference. He didn't look
Green
back.
Genie.
Oh no, he good.
He didn't look. He didn't hit the turn.
Didn't really touch him though. Didn't affect
Definitely
him.
not pass interference. But I said just for hypotheticals, like as far as this goes, that Georgia's obviously in it, and you got TCU. Let's say TCU has, they have to play the Big 12 championship game. They have to go undefeated. If TCU loses a game, I think they're out.
Mm-hmm.
There is an avenue. The whole reason I say this is because there is an avenue for Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU to make it.
Triple team SEC.
I think there is, and I think here's the thing. I think there is, and I think the masses and maybe even the committee is hating that's actually has to be talked about at this late.
Because listen, you have Tennessee and LSU are 5 and 6. They don't play each other again. Tennessee doesn't have anybody that they're not playing the SEC championship game. So they've already basically said Georgia's in. Georgia gets to the SEC championship game with no losses and they lose in the final in the SEC championship game to LSU. They're in, right? So now you have 3 spots for Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, and LSU. LSU beats Georgia. That's it. They're in. You'd imagine. Now, obviously, you need Michigan to lose and beat Ohio State. Like, that would have to happen. But if both those teams end up with 1 loss, I think they're out. TCU, unless TCU goes and gets upset, and then one of them are back in.
Right.
But there's an avenue for...
I think it's higher than it's ever been, too, since the playoff system started. I think there's a chance that...
USC has to lose to UCLA and or Notre Dame.
There's no way you keep... I know you're talking about a 3-team SEC playoff. There's no way you keep LSU out at this rate, right?
No, if they win, they're in.
And they win.
You're not keeping that unless for some crazy reason the SC champion had like 3 or 4 losses. Like that wouldn't happen. But
if they lose to A&M and beat Georgia, not
yeah,
like
I think that's the only way they're out. And I would 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Like, hey, you won the SC championship and like great, but
you can't have 3 losses.
A team who lost 6 in a row. You know what I mean? Like you didn't do what you needed to do.
To Auburn,
which was electric. Cadillac Williams was awesome.
He's not going to be the head coach, but he's going to have himself a job.
Oh, no doubt. He'll be there after. Whoever is the head coach should 1,000,000% hire him. I mean, you saw the student section in the crowd, like all stayed, like that shows you how bad Hudson was. Wow. That's terrible.
LSU was there a year ago.
Wow, this is a quick drive?
No, they fumbled.
Oh.
They punted, roughing the punter, 2 plays.
Oh, they fumbled.
Sack fumble. 2 plays later, sack fumble.
That's what you get with Tyler Heineke.
Yeah, but you also may get the 60-yard bomb that somehow.
I know. I'm with you. Hey,
was the sack fumble his fault or was it like a?
He got hit from behind.
Yeah.
Blindside.
Oh, see that little merge they did? Right, little V-Mix?
Get in there.
No, Boston Scott.
I'd like to see him get in there.
And the Commanders are 4-5. They probably beat the Saints.
Hey, they just showed a stat up there that said the Eagles the Eagles team is plus 16 in the turnover margin. The next closest team in the league is plus 8. That's unbelievable. They didn't say who. That's unbelievable though. That is that high.
Oh, that didn't work. I mean,
here's 680
Well, here's
pounds.
the deal. If you're gonna go over the top, how do you expect to like tackle him? Do you expect to get him and crumble? Like
jump on his back.
You have to have momentum going the other way. So if you jump over the line to get him, you really think that you in the air is gonna be able to keep the guy from going 1 yard? Like,
yeah, you'll do the roll like the
the
WWE roll where you kind of roll over. You can pin him.
DDT him.
Alligator roll.
Yeah. Speaking of fights, the UFC fight. I don't know if you watched it.
The haymakers.
Poirier fight.
It's great.
Unbelievable. Like, dude, So
the
Poirier's-
pace they fought at was crazy.
Hey, they were absolutely wearing each other out. Poirier. Hello, are you listening to me? I'm talking to you.
Well, my buddy just texted me, who's an absolute sharp, and said it's Devontae Smith's birthday. We should hit his over on the props, but that was too long ago. Other than that, continue.
Other than that, the fight, right? So it's not
cauliflower year versus cauliflower year.
No doubt. It wasn't a championship fight, right? So 3 rounds in UFC if there's not a championship fight, 5 rounds with a championship fight. Poirier they have fought before, right?
Him and Chandler never fought before.
Right?
No.
Did y'all watch this?
Well, it's Poirier from Lafayette. Like when Poirier fights, I watch.
Oh,
I've gotten into the UFC fights a lot more.
He was born at City Bar.
He went to Coma.
Born at City Bar.
Yeah.
I've never had a more strenuous walk in my life than trying to walk to City Bar in Lafayette from Nighttown. And it's just like, okay, I see y'all.
Oh, I see what you mean. A
lot of graphic T-shirts.
Yeah. Anyway.
Got a problem?
He's fighting this guy, right? And they are literally going toe to toe, like brawling.
You want some
like,
Molly?
Brawling. What?
That's what they used to ask. I didn't. I said no.
What is Lloyd talking about?
I don't know. I'm trying to get the story out. He keeps going back to Nighttown.
Have you heard Ben?
I know at Nighttown. I grew up in Lafayette. But they're throwing haymakers, dude. And so they get Poirier almost knocks him out. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell.
Right? Mm-hmm. So then they go to the next round. This guy is bleeding. His nose is all messed up. Like he's gushing blood. Like they're trying to get the blood to stop. The next round.
Miami weekend.
The next round, they're on the ground. And the guy gets Poirier on the ground, has got him in like a very bad spot. He's on top, and the guy's trying to wail on Poirier, and the blood starts leaking out of his nose onto Poirier's face to the point where Poirier started squeezing his nose and getting the blood out. It was nasty, but it was like, damn, this is wild. Poirier almost got tapped out. He ends up getting out.
He almost drowned in blood?
He almost gets, well, he can't see. He's wiping the blood off his face, trying to fight. He gets out of it, ends up, he doesn't knock him out. He taps him out. Right?
It was the next round. Yeah, it was the next round. He had the rear naked choke, I think they call it.
He got him, and
got him in the fish hook.
Dude, it was wild. And the championship fight sucked.
Oh, this man is bleeding.
Yeah, you watching it?
Yeah, I got just pulling up a picture.
I'm pretty sure some of it went in his mouth.
Bro, it was nasty.
It was nasty.
Would you do that?
No.
You have to drink.
Listen, bro, I ain't fighting in that. I'm never stepping foot in an octagon. Tell you what I'm not doing is that. Right? Like, no. These guys are psycho. You give me one kick to the thigh and I'm out.
One kick to the shin.
Well, I would avoid the shin. I'm not going to try.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to try to kick him. If I don't try to kick him, my shin's not in the way. But he's going to try to kick me in the side like the IT band. Bro, like the velocity of their kicks. I'm crippled, dude.
It might fix me.
The thought process for me is like, for me to be in that mindset to do what they have to do inside an octagon, there ain't nobody's hands getting shaken after that, bro. Like we don't see eye to eye on stuff.
No.
Bro. I'm not cool with you.
Hey, bro, you punch me in the face and like I'm trying to kill you.
Like straight up.
And then you go full Tyler Durden on me where you're bleeding in my mouth on purpose. Blah, blah. Like I don't want anything to do with you. No. Fight first rule of Fight Club.
No. Not unless we fight.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
So that's my mindset when it comes to octagon. It's just not happening.
Nah.
What were the odds? Did you gamble on it?
Was he favored?
I think Poirier was favored in that fight. I think.
I didn't bet on it. A lot of people lost money though.
I've lost so much money betting on UFC.
On the style bender.
Hammered.
Yeah, on the championship fight, a lot of people did lose money on that.
Because the guy beat him wasn't supposed to beat him. Took the belt from him.
Style bender lost.
Yeah, got knocked
last
out.
Round. Like within like the last 2 minutes of the last round.
He got knocked out, and he almost knocked the other guy out, right? Didn't he?
First round
almost knocked.
He got saved by the bell.
You kind of like it.
I do.
No, I enjoy.
How do you not like watching a fight? That's like saying if you showed up at Fred's and the fight started out right next to you, you're not walking away from it. So I don't know why you're like.
Only fight that I don't like watching is like when like some dude like.
It's bad.
He's super hammered and like he gets jumped by 4 dudes. I'm like,
no, that's you get what I'm saying.
I almost want to jump in for the other guy and like, hey,
you get what I'm saying. Yeah, nah, I'm not talking about that kind of situation. But Lloyd's acting like it's like, oh, it's so barbaric. I don't like to see it. Lloyd, they're in a fight you walked away from that you've seen in person. So let's not act like now that it's production, like, oh no, I don't watch that stuff. No way.
I mean, nowadays you can't fight though. Like, you fight and someone falls down, hits his head on the corner of the curb and fucking
Uber.
I mean, you're done.
Uber. Out of here.
Social media, you're done. Done. But that fight was awesome. We watched that fight now. They end at ended at 1 o'clock.
For what?
The not Jared Mitchell, Jordan Jefferson, Shady's aftermath.
No.
Sounds like a lot.
I wasn't there.
We were playing baseball, Lloyd.
20-inning game.
Wasn't there.
We were even at LSU at the time. That was the year he was already gone. He was recovering from his ankle surgery. Right?
What
year was that? 11?
11, yeah. I wasn't there. Yeah.
That was after 11. That was 12. That was 12.
I thought it was at 11.
It was 11.
It was after the national championship game?
No, it was during the season.
Oh, was it during the season?
Yeah.
So I was gone. That was your ankle surgery year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so neither one.
No, 10 was the ankle surgery year, but I wasn't.
still recovering.
Yeah, I still wasn't there from that.
I'm trying to put us at the scene. That ended Shady's.
I know, that's my favorite bar.
Ended Shady's.
Something else.
Did you take the plus 11 like I told
did.
you? Did you? You're gonna ride my heater?
Of course, dude. Hey,
Look, watch.
The Green Genie.
It's a quick 6.
He's good.
And better than what they've got.
Better than Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz stinks.
I gotta imagine that watching.
What?
Hey, I gotta imagine.
Well, one, he stinks, but he also. I dropped him after that game.
I gotta
sure.
imagine that watching Carson Wentz in like just throwing drills or like a 7-on-7 is so impressive that you have no choice but to be like, man, we should give this guy a shot because he stinks in the game. Like, it's got to be so good that
clean
comes out crisp, clean, tall. He's big. You're just like, dude, how do we not play this?
Perfect ball.
Tall Carson Wentz.
Yeah, it has to look so good.
And then you look at his rookie year and you're like, damn, he can do it.
He almost won the MVP.
Yeah, and he got hurt. If he didn't get hurt, he probably would have won the MVP. His year was unbelievable.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah.
Speaking of, LSU had some old recruits that are still trickling in.
Hey, listen. And this is going to happen. This is the way it works. They already had 25 commitments.
They can sign up to and over because of the last year.
Can they? I
Yes.
thought the rule was no matter what, you can only sign 25, like high school guys, you can get transfer portal to fill in.
No, they had empty spots because of how many people that left the program from the last
So
year.
you can
So how many extra do they have?
That's where I don't want to answer the question because I don't know.
You can use that on high school recruits?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But here's my point to that though is like, regardless, I don't know how many you have left, right? Let's say they've gotten 25 commits. Let's say they can sign 32, right? And let's say after this happens and they beat Georgia and they just some special crazy season, and you got these guys that want to come in and or / transfer. Some of these commitments that are committed may not have their offer available just based off of need and want and rankings.
That's not where LSU is in my mind.
I hope that's not the case, but that happens everywhere. It happens in every sport, everywhere.
I'll say this too. Even if they don't go on and beat Georgia and have some crazy year, I think a great showing in that game is going to go a long ways to where they do what they do in recruiting.
Oh, no
this year.
doubt.
They have 2 commits from Georgia, DJ Chester and another offensive lineman.
Now imagine them going to play a great game against Georgia and maybe just getting beat at the end. Even if you know what I mean? Like, you don't think that you can sway some other people like, hey, we're now. We're up. We're up next. Do you want to be a part of it? Do you not? You know?
They have 2 guys, I believe, that went to.
What do you think Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
What do you think the spread? Have you looked at the spread for the LSU Georgia game?
17.5.
16 points. I'm taking it right now.
You're guessing that, or you saw it at 17?
No, that was my guess.
Oh, okay.
16. I'm taking it. LSU.
I'll dabble.
I mean, 16 is a lot, Coach.
Yeah, that's a lot. I like that.
Okay, this was a question that was brought up a lot in terms of if you had your choice of who to play in the East, would you have rather played Tennessee or played Georgia for the first time? LSU obviously has had Georgia's number since 2018. Beat them in 2018, beat them in 2019. Don't play them.
They don't even have the LSU A&M game here.
I think.
What would you put it at?
I don't even know.
I think I would have.
Makes me nervous about that game.
I would have rather played Georgia first. I'm only saying this is because I get the feeling like they just didn't truly. No one did at the time, honestly. I don't think anyone truly believed how good Tennessee was at that point. I think that they would have gone into this other one like, yeah, like this is our coming out party in that situation. Yeah. That's just my. Now I'm not saying would it have been a huge difference in the score. I don't know. I'm just saying I think that they would have taken that a little more seriously, a little more.
I agree.
Well, and you got that was the now infamous Harold Perkins got schemed out the game. That will never happen again.
Right.
Right.
Make adjustments.
Yep.
You figured it out. Okay, this will happen. Okay, we're not gonna let that happen again. We're gonna make the adjustments.
Yeah.
Good coaching. Plus 16 is big.
I'm gonna go ahead and buy a point.
Can't imagine.
Why?
Get it to 17. That's a good raw number. If you lose
Can't-
by 2 touchdowns.
can't imagine-
What's your odds go like? Why?
It's only minus 130. It's so worth it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can't imagine.
Look at my account.
All right. Whatever you say.
I can't imagine the spread going much higher than that.
No, it's only gonna go down.
Right. So
I would love to know the amount of games that you bought points on that you would have won at what it originally was at anyway, so that you lost the.
Why
so
would
that
they
you
even
lost
have
the
that
odds on
line out there right now?
Because that's how I got Alabama and I got Arkansas.
I know. Like, why would they?
They do
have...
games of the year, like games of the week, where they have to put it out early because so many people are putting action on it. You can't not.
Yeah,
take
but
the
this
money.
is 3 weeks early.
People want to bet on it, so you put the line out. If people want to do drugs, you have to have them available.
I mean,
Yeah, is that what they said?
if you're gonna go there, yeah.
I mean, y'all were in Miami. I wasn't.
What was available to us?
I mean, alcohol. And,
Alcohol.
If you want to drink, would you not like it to be there a week early? Was it there when you showed up, or did you have to buy it?
It wasn't there when we showed up. It wasn't there a week early. That's for sure.
The house was ready.
Probably. I don't know.
Notre Dame
I
though.
don't know
Notre Dame's
what
at
they
18. Florida State's at 20.
Yuck.
Florida State's at 7-3, coach.
That Florida State loss looks a lot worse than like if I told you we were gonna play. If I told you a top 20 team had a week 0 game and that's who you play in week 1, you wouldn't be happy about that shit, huh?
Listen,
I'll line up against Florida State
now,
again.
no doubt.
I would too, but I'm just saying when you look at it in retrospect, you're like, I don't know, I don't like that either.
They're about to score.
Keep us in it.
They're about to score.
Green Genie.
They're on the 4.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you. I mean, Florida State's 7. Listen to me. Florida State. Okay, let's go through here. Let's do that. Let's look at their schedule.
Schedule?
Schedule.
Oh, God. Where's he from?
Penn State. Rookie.
Rookie? Who's their quarterback?
Who knows? I don't know. Who is their quarterback?
The redhead.
Wow. Guess who Florida State plays this weekend?
Miami.
No. They beat Miami 45-3 last weekend. 2 weekends ago. My bad. UL.
Did they really?
UL goes to Florida State.
What's the spread?
I don't know. But then they got to play Florida at home, right? So you'd imagine.
Oh, back-to-back Billy weeks.
You'd imagine they finished the season 9-3.
You can't fire him.
You can't fire him, and 2, they're gonna finish at 9-3, being ranked at the top 15 in the country. Like that's not gonna be a hindrance on your resume. It shouldn't be. First game of the season, they already had a game. You lost on a fluky. Yes, let's go with the touchdown.
That's everything I don't need. The 2 touchdowns are by 2 people that I don't need scoring right now.
Sorry, I don't have anybody playing this game, so
I'm up by like almost 40 with playing against.
Are you playing against McGee?
No, I'm playing against. I don't care. I'm playing against.
I went over the top.
He's got Samuel, Gibson, and Hurts going. The 2 touchdowns are going to 2 of the people that don't need to score.
Tough. I think you may be in trouble.
This man has Miles
Not
Sanders,
good.
and that said, Curtis Samuel as well. Justin Fields is doing it, Coach.
Doing it. But my point about this whole thing before we go to the NFL is 9-3, Florida State team. Like 1, he saved the season. Norvell saved the season 1, and 2, the loss of ours doesn't hurt as much.
Well, and
as we thought it was at the beginning of the season.
That's what I was saying. Now Florida State can't hire Dion.
No.
Unless you make a total just.
Does Dion go to Auburn, keep Cadillac Williams, and they bring
As the
all
associate?
the juice?
I tell you what, if that happens, Saban may be retiring soon.
Wow. Can you imagine?
Well, then Lane to Alabama.
Because they're going to lose a lot of recruits if that happens.
And Lane to Alabama.
They will lose a lot of recruits if that happens. I promise you
Lane
that.
to Alabama. I didn't even think about that.
He's been waiting for something. And it ain't Auburn. That's a lateral move. Ole Miss and Auburn are the same team.
He would have come to LSU.
Well, yeah, that he wanted. He was.
Yeah.
Call Wayne.
Ole Miss and Auburn are not a lateral move.
Auburn's a better job.
Are you kidding me? That's a way better program than Ole Miss.
No, but what he's already built, he has to.
So what was the Tommy Tuberville session in Ole Miss? I'll wait.
Wait, what?
Tommy Tuberville,
The governor
at Auburn, was very good. That team was very good for a while. Where was that stretch at Ole Miss? I'll wait.
Lane is making that happen. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
not,
we can
dude.
turn
Lane's
that-
been there for
Well,
how long?
But that's why it's not.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's why it's not a lateral.
It's
move.
not a lateral move. It's a better program at Auburn.
It's Lane.
It's a way
it's
better
what-
program.
It's
at
whatever
Auburn.
Lane wants to make it.
So
You're trying.
You poked the bear with him.
I mean, that's such an asinine statement. It's not the same program. It's not. They're down right now. But Lane being there 2 or 3 years is not making it the same. It's just not, dude. It's not. There's no way.
Would you rather play for?
Why does Cadillac have a job now? Not for the 2 years that would have, because where that program was and what they did while he was there, and then he went into the NFL and played. That's not the same move, dude. You know it's not. Stop right now. You need to stop that. Don't do that.
But I'm not saying so much as
Lane, Alabama would be dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Lane makes whatever program.
Okay.
Ole Miss was not a dangerous job until he turned it into one. He could turn Auburn into the same thing.
Lane's a great. No, I'm talking about Alabama. I'm not talking about Auburn. Lane ain't going to Auburn. Oh, maybe.
That's not what you were saying?
No, you said it'd be a lateral move for him if he went from Ole Miss to Auburn. It's not. Auburn's a better
program than Ole Miss. I think that's a step
better
up.
Coach
It's
and a better program. It's a better program.
Better to recruit at Auburn than it is at Ole Miss somehow. Yeah. I mean, actually, yeah, it is. They get better recruits. They have better people.
But you're talking yourself into a lateral move. You could hear it in your voice.
It's not a lateral move. The program's history and the tradition and the success that they've had at Auburn is far outweighs.
Far better than Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Far better.
Remove the Cam Newton year.
Okay. Go back to the early mid-2000s.
Are you kidding?
When Auburn was like...
When Ole Miss won the SEC West with LSU in 2003?
One time.
That's where Auburn is.
No. Auburn. Okay,
they get a Nick Marshall 80-yard tip pass.
Jason Campbell should have. They were undefeated.
You forgot about the undefeated year.
Yeah, they didn't go to the national championship.
They should have.
I know.
They had two top 5 picks and they had 2-3 first round. You're making zero sense.
Ronnie Brown.
You're really making. I'm not even gonna argue with you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you because that's
we're good. You're being
like
ridiculous
one
right
year
now.
out of the other, and Auburn was in the top of the SEC West for like 15 years.
I'm not even. This is ridiculous. You're saying that. I'm not even.
But he was turned Ole Miss into a contender.
Bro, 2 years.
More
is
of a
not the
pretender can make him more respectable. They haven't ever contended for anything.
I'm saying he could do the same thing at Auburn.
Better.
That's why the program's better, because he could do more there. That's literally what we're saying.
But I'm saying he has to rebuild again. He has to redo what he did at Ole Miss.
That's not what you're saying. You're saying it's a lateral move. It's not.
Yeah,
that's a different argument you're making now. Of course he'd have to rebuild. Yeah, that doesn't mean it's a lateral move.
I'm saying the Auburn success would be contingent on Lane.
Question. Was Notre Dame a lateral move to LSU?
No.
Okay. LSU was down. They weren't playing very well, but it wasn't a lateral move, right?
Right.
Okay. I think it's similar. Yeah, but I think it's similar to. It's not exactly the same, but a team being down for a couple years because of the coach and what he did to the program doesn't make them bring them down to the level of Ole Miss. Ole Miss hasn't won anything ever.
Ever. They haven't had any standout years ever.
The Eli Manning year, and he busted his ass against LSU and fell down and lost the game for him.
I saw it.
Their best players in biggest years played on not very good teams.
Okay, so whatever I said was standing. Explain to me why the Auburn job is better than the Ole Miss job, but it feels like they're much.
Because there's more winning history in the program.
Auburn has a history of putting more players in the NFL, having more successful seasons, winning at all. They have won should have probably won 2 national championships at Auburn because of the Jason Campbell year. You have a better.
There's Heisman winners there.
They have better recruits that they bring in there. It's a better job all around than Ole Miss. They have better support for the program. Like
better recruiting ground.
Now the shitty part is you have to compete.
You got to compete.
Alabama.
Yeah, you got to compete with Saban, but that's
Which is probably why they have gone down a little bit, is because Saban built the monster that he built, and so those guys that were going between Auburn and Alabama and Georgia are just going to Alabama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not fighting them anymore. But
the program
as a whole is a better program than Ole Miss. I do agree with you there.
I would love to see the wins and losses the last 3 years.
Well,
that's not a program, dude.
That is a snippet of.
You literally just said the same thing against LSU. So how can you say it's the same? The last 3 years doesn't mean the program is shit.
No,
it doesn't take away the past success of the program
or the ability to get the players back in the program. That's the kicker.
Which is what Lane has done well at Ole Miss.
Which is why it'd be easier for him to do it at Auburn. If he can do that at Ole Miss.
It just feels like a retread for him whenever he's like, I built all of this
that's
up.
fine, but that's not the initial statement you said. We're not. That's not.
We're not that far off on what.
Yeah, you are.
The programs aren't.
You're way far off.
The programs aren't the same. I get that, right? I get what you're saying is he doesn't want to go somewhere where he's going to have to rebuild it for a couple years, even though he knows the upside's more than his upside is at Ole Miss.
Absolutely.
He has built it up. He's done enough at Ole Miss where it's very hard to win to put himself in a position to get a higher profile job that's in better standing, which is why if he goes to Alabama, I am terrified.
Yeah, wouldn't be good.
That's my larger point is I don't think he makes lateral move may have been wrong.
Well, how about you just say you're switching the point from what you originally said?
No, I still stand by.
That's not what you said. That's 100% not what you said.
I stand by that.
It's not a lateral move.
They're the same job. They're the same thing.
Shot.
I'm
you
not
and Kyrie
of either one. No, don't pit me. And I love the.
I'm joking.
I love all religions.
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Except for the Catholics. But my point being is that he would wait to take the Alabama job as opposed to sprinting to the Auburn job, which makes it, in my mind, a lateral move. He goes from Ole Miss to Auburn whenever he could go to Alabama in maybe 3 years.
Let's I get what you're saying, but let's
You're in that group of
let's
five
take the
instead of
rephrasing.
being-
Let's take the rephrasing out. It's not a lateral move. It's just not as good of a job as the Alabama job.
Right. So he's not going to move from where
It is a step up. Auburn is a step up from where he's at, but it's not the step that he wants to get. It is a step up. Like it is. There's no argument in there. Like it is. Auburn is a step up from Ole Miss. Now, is it the
I can't
top of
believe
the
you're
mountain?
arguing that. Like
Is
I don't
it
know.
the top of the mountain? No. Alabama is. So obviously, you want to go instead of taking 1 step or 2 steps up, you want to take 6 and get to the monster. I get that, but to say that it's going this way, I don't really agree with that.
And who was the last time if you had to pick between Ole Miss and Auburn, which team was the last time to bring a top 10 team into Tiger Stadium?
Okay, because you're basing it off. You're basing it off the last 3 years.
That's recency bias, dude.
Yeah,
absolutely it is.
No,
but that's not a program. That's not a program.
That's like you saying if LSU and Notre Dame went to USC this year, and you saying who's the better program? Not before what you're talking about right now. Before the year started, you'd say, well, Notre Dame was ranked higher, so there must be a better program.
Recency bias.
That's recency bias. That's not a better program.
The program is like what has been sustained through the course of years, not like you wouldn't consider UCF a really good program when they were going undefeated and like doing things for a couple years. Like that's not a program. That is a flash in the pan.
Couple hot years.
It was a good stretch.
It was a good little run
because they had some guys there. Like it's just not to me. A program is something that's sustainable, and to me, Auburn has sustained it for. Now they're going through a rough patch for sure, but they have sustained it for a long time.
How long?
The 2000s were really good.
Really good. They were really good. It's actually more you could say in the early 2000s. It's actually more that you could say in the early 2000s that they were a better program than Alabama.
They were. Definitely
at that time.
But if we to go from the Cam Newton year, 2010, 14-0.
Which is post their best time, honestly, because that's the Gene Chizik years.
Yeah.
Right. And so they go.
Pass.
Oh my God.
They go 2011, 8-5, 3-9, 12-2 under Gus in his first year, 8-5, 7-6, 8-5, 10-4. Gus Malzahn saved his job.
Lloyd, I'm gonna say this again. What coach did I say?
4-6.
Lloyd, what coach did I say?
First of all of those are still outside of these last 3 years. Are still better than Ole Miss.
What coach did I say, Lloyd?
How many 10-win seasons has Ole Miss had before last year?
Right. That's
zero.
Zero. That's my point.
Zero. No, but your point is wrong then because it's not that's not a program.
No,
he has done.
Lane Kiffin is the program.
Lane Kiffin is very good, but the program, going to the program, the team, that's not the team. That's the coach. The coach has made it. Now, if Lane Kiffin's been there for 10 years, now he's changed the program. But he hasn't done it. It's not. But you're not a lateral move. It's an upgrade to a better team that has more sustainable success. They're able to. It's easier to do it there than it is to do it at Ole Miss. They've had one 10-win season in their entire history last year. That was the only time they've ever had.
Half of their second.
Okay, but that's Lane Kiffin. That's not a program. That's because of him.
That was my larger point.
But it's not a lateral move. It's
not a lateral
We're talking strictly
move,
programs.
dude.
Take the coaches out of it. Strictly programs. If you take the coaches out of it, the programs. What's a better program? Auburn, no doubt, 100%. Program wise, take the coach out of it.
Hey,
I'll just go. Coach for the last.
And I'll just say it too this way. So we'll start at 2000 at Tommy Tuberville. So 2000 through when he got his last year.
I don't know
there,
why we're
which
talking
is-
Auburn and Alabama.
Because
okay.
it's ridiculous what he's saying right now.
God, it's through it.
9-4, 7-5, 9-4, 8-5, 13-0, 9-3, 11-2, 9-4. That ain't Ole Miss. Ole Miss hasn't even done a third of that yet. And you're
that's
trying to say it's a
before-
better. And this is before what he just said.
That's before the 11 national championship, before the 10-2.
Heisman winners came through there. So how is that the same?
Because now under Lane Kiffin, they are 10-3 and now 8-2. I'm just saying, wherever Lane Kiffin goes, he's gonna make that job a winner. It doesn't matter if he can.
That's
make
not what you said.
But that's not the point.
That's not the point you made.
It's a lateral move for him because he's gonna make that program is the same regardless of wherever Lane Kiffin is. He's getting the same players.
It's not what you said, bro.
That's what it is.
It's not the
If
same.
Lane Kiffin
moves,
goes
not the
there,
same.
Lane Kiffin's going to get better players than he has now. He's going to be more equipped to beat the big dogs in college football more consistently. He's not equipped to do that at Ole Miss. He has to play an absolutely perfect game.
Yeah.
Auburn, he doesn't. He can do that. He can go
He
out and
goes
get
to
the
Auburn.
guys.
Whatever you saw him do at Ole Miss, if he goes to Auburn, there's a good chance and a good bet that he does that times 2. That much quicker. Same thing when you saw Brian Kelly, great for 10 years at Notre Dame. Him being able to come here that much quicker. Because that's how the program is.
I get what you're saying, but as far as just program-wise, it's not a lateral move to me. I think it's a step up to go to Auburn. I'm not saying it's the top job in college football either. I think Alabama's a top job, if that's available. But to say that's a lateral move, I disagree with. To say that Lane Kiffin can make any winner, any team a success if he has resources, I agree with that. But the program comparison is like this. I believe Auburn is a better program based off of
they
history.
Can get out their own way. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
saw
with
what
the new
happened to
coach.
Brian Harsin.
Yeah, but
and
that's
they
a new
tried
coach. They had a bad coach. Ole Miss has been.
No. I'm saying it's the administration that they kind of LSU'd it to a point where it's, hey, I know you're on the Board of Regents. I know you donate a ton of money. I understand that. Let coaches coach. Let players play. Get out the way. Auburn has yet to prove they've been able to do that in their
For the last couple of years?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine though.
I mean, you saw what happened with Brian Harsin.
Could have
I know,
said
but
the
it's a
same
bad
thing
couple
with LSU the
years.
last 2 years. So.
Yes.
Right.
It's a bad couple
not a
of years.
bad
But it
program.
doesn't make LSU a bad program. When LSU job was open, they said this is one of the best programs you can go to in college football.
If you let me do it my way.
Right, that's fine. So you get a mistake and you're seeing what happens. They're just gonna go hire a guy that can do that. They'll let him do that. Like they made the mistake. But to compare just to 2 years based on the entire program, that's not. I mean, that is the definition of recency bias. Like that's not a program. You're looking at 2 years of a program, not an entire program.
I'm not comparing programs. I'm comparing coaches.
Yeah, but you are as far as the job.
But you are, 'cause you said program.
If you're saying if it's a lateral move, that's comparing programs.
That's not comparing coaches.
That is
That's comparing
directly
programs.
comparing programs.
I'm saying Lane Kiffin could do the same job either way. Wherever he wants
Lane-
to do it at Auburn or do it at Ole Miss.
See, I
it would be
disagree.
the
I
same
think
thing.
if he goes to Auburn, he has a chance to win national.
I'm
goes
telling
there.
you this right now. Look, I'm telling you this right now because I think that's what you're really missing. Do you really, really, really believe year in and year out right now that Ole Miss is a contender?
Not without Lane Kiffin.
Even with Lane Kiffin,
This
they're
is
not.
what we're talking about with Lane Kiffin.
Even
right
with
now.
Lane Kiffin,
no,
they're
you
not.
don't.
They haven't
You
won
didn't
anything
believe
with
that.
him.
You didn't fucking believe that. There's no fucking way you believe that.
They
you can
haven't
stop
won
that shit
anything
right
with
now.
Lane Kiffin. They've won games, but they haven't won
You
anything.
did
worth
not
the
think
shit.
that at all. Even when they were top 10 in the country, you did not think that. Hey, they're still gonna beat LSU. They're gonna beat Alabama. They're gonna beat all these teams. You did not think that.
No.
Right? So my point to it is if he goes to Auburn, that is a higher profile job with a much more opportunity to be a national sustained success in the eye, like a real thing. Ole Miss is just Ole Miss. I don't mean it just is what it is, bro.
I'm not a kowtow for Ole Miss, and I believe you. But the state of where we are right now is he's going to Alabama. And that's what
I mean, if he
LSU
does go to
fans should
Alabama,
be
that'd be
That's fine.
scary.
That's just not the point you were making.
I
So
know.
like just go ahead and say, all right, you're up.
I win.
You definitely don't win.
You definitely didn't win that one. At all.
We'll put it on the poll.
No.
The Eagles scored again?
Yeah, touchdown pass. Jalen Hurts. But it's all right. Heineke's about to fucking
That was just
do
the
it
first
right
quarter.
here.
We're up 18-14.
Up 18-14.
You don't always take the points.
I may score. If they score a touchdown here and tie it again, I may take it again.
Take the over.
I may take it right now, actually.
A little future, Mikey?
No, I may take the.
That's what I'm saying. You're just
whatever the line is right now.
score.
Yeah.
I'll sprint you.
Let's see. Let's put it in there.
God, I look fat today.
Jesus.
It's unfortunate.
I can't believe you got us in a 15-minute argument about that.
Dude, we had to.
I had other things. I had other things on the thing.
Did
that I was
you?
gonna say,
That's why I was doing it.
No, that's not why. You actually believe it.
Don't tell yourself that. I hate. That's literally my least favorite thing that you probably do.
Is what?
Trying to
Plus
tell yourself that
half,
you did it to make argument. You did not. That was a statement you truly believed when you said it.
I still believe it.
Oh my god.
There's no way you believe that.
Oh my god.
Like, no way.
Bo Wallace came in here and almost beat LSU.
That doesn't mean.
When was that?
One game.
What year? When was that?
2012? 2014? 2014.
That's when they were ranked top 10 too.
Top 10. 10,
That was not Lane
3.
though. Weird, huh? Weird.
Well,
Weird.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, but so they lost it with Lane's. Lane didn't beat us this year either when they were top 10. That's weird. Well, this was top 10 with another coach.
Just let him keep talking. He'll just keep bringing bad point after bad point after bad point.
Liberty ain't gonna get another job somewhere.
He's gonna keep bringing himself down on this.
Maybe he goes there.
Monty Pickett's still alive.
Oh,
that Tampa 2 made a comeback.
You're unbelievable.
Who's your guy at Liberty?
Liberty.
Who is it?
Hugh Freeze.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna go to Coach Auburn.
You know anything about Liberty?
Do I know anything about him? No.
Have you seen that documentary on Hulu?
No. What about him?
Bad.
What is it?
Perverts.
Like before he got there?
No. Oh, yes. The founder, Jerry Tidwell.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't care. I'm talking about him as a coach.
Well,
I'm not talking about the school.
But that's what makes it so funny is they're a Catholic... No, not a Catholic. They're a Baptist school founded on old money from, like, mega churches, and they hired Hugh Freeze, who is... I mean, his sins are written on the wall.
You win, people forget him.
Coach from a tennis chair.
He won.
Lovie Smith got an NFL job out of it. Shaking hands through the screen.
Oregon State getting in the top 25.
Are they in the top 25?
Yeah, they got to play Oregon.
We talked about that game. Yeah, we talked about that game.
Yeah, but they already lost, so it doesn't really matter.
Is Alexis Ernest still there?
I don't know who that is.
The kicker at Oregon State that missed 2 extra points.
Oh, no. I don't know.
You weren't 2004?
I mean, I remember in 2004, but, like, I don't remember
Rain
the
game?
guy. I remember the game you're talking about, but Derek Anderson's quarterback.
He was?
See? You know who he played that year? Derek Anderson. And the next year he played Ben Roethlisberger at Miami of Ohio.
I think it's actually flipped.
Oh, was it flipped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I was there.
Me too.
You hated me.
I didn't know you then. All right, let's get to the Seggies, since you're trying to just derail the show with your
ridiculous outtakes.
I mean, I don't think there's one thing.
That was up there with the...
I still feel right.
I don't even mean it in a bad way. That was up there with the Trey Morgan and Anthony Rizzo take. That was pretty close.
It seems like it's going to come to fruition.
Close.
Coach.
2020.
You know how many home runs Anthony Rizzo has in the major leagues?
How many did he have in college?
He didn't go to college.
You see?
What does that mean?
Trey Morgan's already got a beat.
Anthony Rizzo's got over 300 home runs in Major League Baseball.
I just said their plate discipline is similar. Y'all hear different things.
Oh, you said his approach.
I'm still going ridiculous with this. That's unbelievable.
I'm not even going to get into it. All right, let's go.
Oh, man.
Not My Fault. It's brought to you by Dozy Place.
Dozy
Place, which my in-laws went to Dozy and watched the game this weekend.
Oh, God.
Having my catcher's mitt.
What?
A big old steak.
They had a big old steak.
Not my fault, maybe my fault is Arkansas. And, debate me on the science here, but Arkansas icing the field with what seems to be sprinklers before the game and then scraping the field off. My fault, not my fault. Is that the best way to take care of a wet, icy field? Have you ever seen that before in your life? Because I have not. I understand as a young lad, whenever I was 16, and I would be late for school and my windshield was iced over, I would throw hot water on it and play the odds. Never cracked. But this seems like there's a lot of people involved at Old Arkansas where they're went through the chain of command and said, yeah, run the sprinklers. And I don't know if that's the best way to get rid of.
So I don't know enough about
Me either.
this.
That's
Obviously,
what's
which
the perfect
is
my
part of your
fault, not my
point.
fault.
Part of your point. I know that they say put cold water on iced windows so you don't crack it. I do know that. I don't know if like doing that. I think that's probably what they're trying to do. But like now, how early before the game did they do it? Like, because if it's cold, that water, standing water, is gonna ice over. Now maybe they did it and they're gonna like squeegee it off. I don't know.
Which is what you said they did, right?
Is that what you said? They do the sprinklers and squeegee it off?
Yes.
Yeah, to me that's just to get the ice off the field.
Now maybe somewhat of a little bit of a wet surface, maybe, but
like I think probably what they're gonna do is like they're gonna have to melt the ice anyway.
Yeah.
So like if they had blowers or whatever, they're gonna try to do to melt the ice.
And maybe
you do the water, get it off, and then you use the blowers after that.
And maybe what they didn't have was enough blowers. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
So maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's your fault for just not knowing enough about water and ice. You know what I mean?
I took chemistry.
I think we all had to take chemistry in high school.
I got caught cheating on the final.
Okay, there you go.
Is
that it?
Yeah, and then I have the old chicken broth, hot chocolate, coffee.
I like it. Options. Call Starbucks.
I've never once seen anybody drink anything other than Gatorade or water on a football field.
I have seen coffee on the sidelines.
Coaches?
I have seen like that, but I haven't seen the broth. Now I don't know if it's because it wasn't labeled or whatever, but I hadn't seen the broth. All right, curtain call brought to you by Assured Partners. If you're looking for anybody to do your commercial insurance, give me a call. I'll direct you.
It's your ad
Assured
now.
Partners.
Oh man, they're pissed at us.
Who?
In the chat.
Why?
They didn't like our argument. They think y'all are fools.
No, I think they think you're a fool.
Check the chat.
That's fine.
Well, they think that we're wrong?
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
My curtain call is to the LSU football PA announcer on the plane wherever they announce
Ole Miss.
that they are the
Congratulations.
Western champs.
Wouldn't that be the cap? Was that the captain, or was that?
I thought it was Brian
Or
Kelly.
was it Brian
but
Kelly? Probably Brian Kelly, actually.
It sounds like Brian Kelly.
Alabama beats Ole Miss. Congratulations, LSU. You're going out.
Yeah, I think it is Brian Kelly. I would imagine he will be the one that wants to announce it, not the captain of the plane.
But that was my curtain call because electric moment obviously brings you back a little bit to the 2017 whenever they get the announcement on the plane that West Virginia has lost to Pittsburgh and now you're going to the national championship, it feels like.
I don't remember if that one actually came on the plane or not. Being completely honest with you.
Did it? Was there a video?
Oh, no, I just heard the story from both T-Bob and Matt Flynn and Jacob Hester.
Maybe so.
Then it did.
I like to sleep on planes.
You ever sleep?
So, there's
100%
good chance that happened.
Okay, you have one?
Yeah, my curtain call, I've actually been waiting a long time to say this one. And then it actually happened a little earlier than I thought. But my curtain call is to anyone who took our advice before the season started and took the over on LSU wins of the year, because they have officially hit it. You will officially have
that money is in my account.
You will officially should have gotten paid, and there's still enough room for them to make us kind of look like dummies because they might get the 10 wins before the season. So there you go. That's my curtain call is to anyone who took that advice and put that bet in.
It honestly looks like they should get the 10 wins.
You win.
Like they should.
Yeah. So that's my curtain call.
Told y'all it could happen quick.
Formally apologize for everybody that paired it with the LSU wins and the Saints wins.
What?
I formally apologize.
Yeah, we apologize for that one too.
But here's the deal.
LSU
gets the 10. Saints only need to get 2 more.
You still might be there.
So
baby.
you still have a shot. Listen, I don't think the Saints are going to go. I don't think the Saints are going to go winless the rest of the year.
I don't either.
They only got to win 2. Does the SEC championship game count for LSU?
No, it's regular season wins only, I believe.
Okay. All right. My curtain call is to Jeff Saturday.
Wow.
Right? Because Jeff Saturday was getting absolutely hammered in the national media about, and I don't know, not so
rightfully
much,
so
yeah,
for the people, for the 99.9% of the people that came out and said like right stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't about Jeff Saturday.
The
it was more
situation.
about the situation and what the culture doing and how, like, what does that say to other coaches? What does that say to people who have been through the grind of coaching and you don't get them an opportunity, who've had head coaching jobs? You're going to go get a guy off the street who's an analyst who hasn't done any coaching above high school.
3-7 in high
right?
school.
Hasn't, I mean, this year, but his winning record, that came out later. He has a winning record in high school, okay? Just 3-7 this year. But guy who's never coached in any capacity in college, has never coached in any capacity in NFL, gets hired off of the street to come into a locker room that he's an analyst, he had an office in the building, but he really wasn't there. To be able to go and lead some professional athletes, professional football players, that stinks. You didn't get that.
Go for
you got to go for it. You have all these professional guys that you have to get and rally around, right? You have a guy who's going to call plays, who has never called plays. He's 30 years old. And you go out there and you win an NFL game 25 to, I don't care who you're playing. You can play the worst team in the NFL. To go out there and win a game in the NFL is impressive. And he did it. And, like, you know, the one thing everybody said about Jeff Saturday was his character's awesome. He was a great player. He's a great leader, all these types of things. But I think it's unfair that these people go and, you know, have worked and been coaching and have been in this industry for a long time and get passed up from a guy who has never done it, right?
Yeah,
But what Jeff Saturday, oh, wow.
That was it. They didn't get it off. He wasn't supposed to catch that. That's
Was
actually
he not?
impressive. No, I don't think so.
That
at
play
all.
would have been awesome.
That was unbelievable.
Now they're kicking the field goal. But what they didn't, Jeff Saturday had, 14 years in NFL, all-pro, in the Ring of Honor for the Colts, is a center, so he understands the entire scheme of the offense. Like, he's basically the second quarterback. So, like, he may not have coaching experience, but he has leading experience. He has football knowledge. And, you know, I'm not saying it was the right move. I'm not saying that it was
the wrong move.
The wrong move. I'm just saying that these guys, people come at people because of the decisions that they made. Let's let some things play out sometimes. And maybe he knows. Maybe Jim Irsay knew a little bit more about Jeff Saturday and what he was about than most. And shout out to Jeff Saturday for going out there and, like, his speech was electric. And he made that. I thought he missed it. His speech was electric after the game. And hey, man,
hard to not get behind him.
Colts have some good players. You know, maybe they make a little run, and who knows what happens with him after. But that's my curtain call. Good show. We got through it. We got through the day.
I like how you say that. That was easy.
That was easy. I'm saying we got through it because Jay Mitch wanted to kill you. Because of your awful,
That's fair.
awful take.
He's got Miami brain. I don't. I'm sharp. Sharp as a tack.
Dumb tack, yes.
I don't know. Great show today.
Tack.
We'll be back. We'll be back live from the studio Wednesday from 6 to 8. We will have a guest. Don't know who the guest is yet. I do know who it is, but I'm not going to tell you. And until it's closer. You like that?
Yeah.
You like that? We do. We're gonna tease it a little bit tomorrow and the next day, and you know.
Dustin Blanchard's so mad.
I'm sorry, Dustin.
Sorry, Dustin. Sorry, Dustin.
But appreciate everybody tuning in. Share it with a friend. Like, subscribe. You know, we're on all podcast networks, Spotify and Apple. Thanks to Lloyd, we do it 3 days a week now. Appreciate that on Fridays. We will be live from Uncle Earl's this Friday, 4:30 to 6. You know, come and drink with us.
Love it.
Cold. Hey, sun comes down earlier now. Maybe a little bit easier to get people in the happy hour. You know what I mean? Night starts early. Come and get some drinks.
We'll be performing under the lights this weekend. Basically.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
We'll be back
inside. You don't want to be outside this
Definitely
time.
back inside. If they say outside, I don't know if we're doing it, Coach. It's cold. Be cold. All right, we'll see you on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Watch Monday Night Football. I took Commanders plus 11. If you did not, I'm sorry because I think they're going to do it. I also took them again at plus 14.5 mid-game when they're about to go down and kick the field goal. So,
whammy,
I'm in on the Commanders tonight. See what happens. Talk about it on Wednesday. Watch your Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Peace.